All right. Welcome to the podcast of gurus. We are sponsored by Marky Fresh. They offer the best barbershop around, period, and actually look for the expansion coming soon. They allow us to actually get all this stuff created. So I'd like to spend a special thank you to Marky Fresh. And then we have a special guest tonight, Jeremy from Willoughby Brewing Company. What's up, Jeremy?
What's up?
How's that peanut butter porter going?
It's going great, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? Good. How's Russo doing tonight? You doing good?
I'm good, man.
Second time on the podcast, man.
Good. Yeah,
Second time. God, the first time didn't go very well.
Yeah.
He felt uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable.
You guys attacked a woman.
We did. And
You
then
attacked a woman while I was sitting here defenseless.
Well, no, we defused the bomb is what we did.
Did
But
we?
hey, are you
did
getting addicted
not,
to these now?
You did not diffuse anything.
We extinguished the flame.
She's not even here anymore.
Can I hear the story?
so
Oh,
and then so before we hit to the story, we have my sidekick as always, Marky. What's up, buddy?
Hey.
How you doing?
Good, man. I'm good.
The wonderful bearded man. Look at him. Look at him. He looks like a lumberjack
It's a
tonight.
great beer.
I was chopping wood earlier and I decided to come on.
He's a manly guy. Just look at his hands. They're all manicured. We have Spencer on the production table. What's up, Spence?
How you guys doing?
Spence. And then Spencer's assistant, Mike Tucci. He's a quiet
Just get
guy.
in here. Come say hi to the fans.
There he is.
Fans, it's probably the
Look
real
how
brains
handsome
of
he
the
is.
operation down there.
Spencer's assistant.
All right, get out
The
now.
guy that does it all, actually.
So anyway, back to the
Here's the
story.
guy that does it all.
Yeah. Back to the story. Last episode, we were talking about weight issues, which we're not going to get into discussion because, to be honest with you, I think we exhausted it. We thought for sure when Russo and I were going home, 100% Spencer was calling us to stay somewhere because we thought that was done.
Yeah.
It turns out it's going great. I'm proud of him for stepping up.
Yeah, I don't know where the 180 came from, but
I thought for sure. So she got a little upset because we were talking about weight issues, and she didn't like the fact that we were judging people. So she got mad, and then a big argument had to happen, and then we had to yell to make everybody stop. So
Yeah, I went ahead and I diffused that situation.
What stance did you take, Russo?
I took the stance.
he
of
took the
keeping my
stance of
mouth shut.
silence.
The silent stance.
She wheeled up. She sat over here in this
Oh
corner.
yeah, she pushed him out of the way.
Larry's sitting here, and
Yeah.
they're screaming at each other, and I just kind of like trying to lean back, like, you know what? Let them just hash it out.
He literally grabbed his phone and just
And I just started
Googling
texting on my
other
phone,
stuff.
and I'm like, you know
He's
what?
like,
I'm
I'm
just
out.
going to figure something else out. It wasn't just a random conversation. They started
Yeah.
talking about girls that are in that go out to like the club or the bars or anything. If they're overweight,
Extremely overweight.
instead of wearing
What are we
something,
talking, 250?
No, we're talking like 3, 4.
or
bills?
just
Yeah.
whatever.
Just
It
happy
doesn't
to
matter
be
what it
who
is.
they
Just an
are.
overweight woman at the club or at the bar that has an expensive outfit on. That how dare she buy that outfit? She should invest that money into a weight loss program. And it just caused.
And then I said, because I'm a bigger guy, that I feel the same way. That
Well,
I
you don't
shouldn't be
celebrate
doing
it,
that.
do you?
I don't.
You wear short shorts and like a little tank top?
I do not. But
Just belly shirt.
again, we won't exhaust the topic because
Yeah.
I think we destroyed it last time.
Yeah.
So anyway, how's the Bruco going?
It's going
Since
great.
we have him here, let's attack him for a minute.
Yeah.
Let's
How's Bruco going?
I appreciate that. Things are going great. We just started distributing
Nice.
our beer.
It's all over Facebook, man.
There's that red wine. and
We
brew.
sold out in the first day that actually before we canned the beer, we had 500 cases that were already ordered. So we actually have to do another batch in the next week.
Are you guys canning them yourself?
We are.
Wow.
Actually, I helped the whole process. It was a really cool process.
So it's from start to finish, it's all Bruco.
All Bruco.
That's amazing. I heard you guys are building another warehouse as well.
Yes, in Lakewood, we have a 10,000 square foot building that we're building equipment, bringing in new equipment, fixing some things, and yeah, we're gonna have a fully operational.
Where are you going to stand as far as up to the other like Fatheads and stuff like that? Are you going to be on the same par with them at the new warehouse or no?
Well, I would think higher.
Really?
Yeah, well,
Really?
Absolutely. I wouldn't do it if I didn't think so.
Wow.
I mean, I think the standard is Great Lakes, and then to beat them, that's the standard.
So where is it? So Great Lakes is number 1 around here.
Absolutely.
And then we're going.
They're
and
top
then
20 in the country.
Who would be number 2 then?
Yep, country. Wow.
That's amazing.
I didn't know they were top 20 in the
So I
country.
knew they were countrywide because I was able to get them in other states, But I didn't know if there was another one better here, because I know that
Better is different than.
Well, no, I'm talking about
maybe
maybe competition, I should say.
So in terms of competition,
In money.
I'd say Fatheads right now is the market leader.
Yeah.
They don't do the sales that Great Lakes does, but I think that in the next 2 or 3 years you'll see that shift.
Where does Market Garden fall? Because I know they built that big ass warehouse.
They
too.
spent a lot of money on that. They
Yeah.
make solid beer. They don't have a distributor though. They're not really pushing that
Really?
yet. I'm not sure if they're
Wow.
laying low and they have a plan, but I mean they have a great beer.
I know they have a tour, and they actually have a couple bars inside that Market Garden, and they have a huge tour that they do. And I know a lot of people do the Great Lakes. A lot of people do the Market Garden. They actually prefer the Market Garden tour over the Great Lakes. I don't know if it's because it's less commercialized.
That's great. What you just said is the reason why Great Lakes will not be the number one in the market, because they a very old school mentality. They, you know, what worked 20 years ago, they believe and apply it works today. Whereas Market Garden is a lot more innovative, transparent, and they do things that are a little bit more trendy.
So I also heard that your brewer left. I'm sure
He did.
but I don't think that's stopping you.
No, not at all.
Because I know you see it a lot on Facebook. You go, I wonder what's going to happen or not. I assume that everything's going to go well.
So about 6-7 months ago, you know, you had to reevaluate things, and I try to do that often, so I could see things from a different perspective.
Right.
And he wasn't as hands-on as I needed my brewer to be. He only brewed about three or four batches in the last 3 years.
Oh wow! So he wasn't really that significant to your business then. In a way.
He represented and was the face and did a great job at that. And you know, he has a lot of friends in that community, and he networks well.
Right.
But in terms of getting to the place that we need to get to and taking that next step, he was not the right person.
Right. It's not personal. It's just business. I mean,
business.
That's absolutely what it needs to be. I mean, you have to do it a lot.
He was the head brewer, right?
He was the brewmaster.
Brewmaster.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. So he
So what's the
represented.
difference?
So there's more than one brewer
Correct.
at any given time there, right?
Anywhere you look at it, even Matt Cole at Fatheads. Matt Cole is the owner. He's the brewmaster. I don't think that he brews a single beer all year.
Really?
So you know, he's the mastermind behind it, which there's a huge value to that in the right situation. You know, when we're a small brew pub, having that doesn't really make sense. So
That makes sense. I mean, I don't see it being.
Did
an
you
issue.
bring any beer with you tonight?
Ooh.
no, I was just driving, and
that's right,
Spencer
that's
told me to come here.
How many employees did you guys bring on with this new venture?
Well, we'll have 3 new brewers, and there's actually a really big announcement in about 3 weeks of who our new brewmaster is going to be.
Oh, nice.
It's from a very, very credible brewery, one of which that we've talked about.
So you're
Really?
Not, you're not going to let us know.
Will you tell us? Will you tell us now? We promise we
Give
will
us some
tell.
dirt.
You promise?
I swear, nobody that's
swear?
listening, nobody that's listening will tell either. I promise. We'll put it out after the announcement. No, that's actually pretty awesome. I know that. So, Roos and I, well, all of us have been going to downtown Willoughby forever, and the brewing company definitely was in the early days was going down. Like nobody's really going there, and then when you guys kind of took it over, it exploded. Like you kind of, to be honest with you, took the bar we worked at out of business pretty much, and almost every other bar to the point where you had to buy them to make it
Bastard.
work. Yeah, you kind of left us
Bastard.
jobless for a little while.
I remember
No.
that.
But in
Business.
Those were the funnest times
Can you
ever.
interject on that?
Well, I think the younger version of myself, what I did was I built instant success, which long term is a terrible strategy. I think what I needed to do is take a step back, and that's what I did, and look at what I was doing, what I wasn't doing, and look at my goals. You know, Spencer brought this up to me about a month ago. You know, and we were talking about, you know, what is your brand, what is your company, and it's just as simple as what's your widget is it used, but what's your product?
Right.
My product's beer, and my product's peanut butter cup porter. It's got a world gold medal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
why
I've
am I
seen that.
focusing on, you know, making it busy at 2 o'clock in the morning with all
Right.
the risks that I'm taking doing that work?
Well, that's an interesting thing you brought up. So, are you going to be concentrating on more of the bands still? Because I know I know you guys get a lot of big name local bands, I should say. And you do well for the Rib Cook-Off, where you had that secondary stage when it rained. You guys got the bands in there. But is it still worth having all the bands in there if you're considering controlling more of the beer aspect and I guess dinner crowd and lunch crowd compared to the late night crowd?
I think controlled atmosphere is the word that I'm going to use. So
Yeah.
getting bands that bring in a crowd
Right.
that's a responsible crowd versus competing against all the bars and being the busiest at all times is short-term results will get you slight financial gain, whereas the long-term result is the reputation. There's a lot of things that come that are negative with that. So the market for for brewery is the world. You know, we only have a 10,000 square foot building. I can't control how many people walk into that building, but I can control, you know, going outside and outside sales and things like that. So that's why I'm really focused. 2019 is going to be beer.
Yeah, I really.
So you're making the switch from service
No,
to
service.
more product.
No, service at its all-time high. I think the controlled variable is the responsible crowd that I'm going to bring in.
Yeah.
The older group of people, you know, from I'd say 25 to 65.
Have you? So you got this whole canning thing in the back, and I've been in your back area with Donnie a couple times. Where the hell do you put it? I mean, it has to be honestly a madhouse back there.
It's a great. No, it's funny because nobody's asked that question before. So when the whole machine's out, you have the person that almost like a Spencer with his little headgear on and his computer.
Yeah.
You know, he's sitting like underneath like in a closet.
Really?
And you know, it's just when you need to do something, you want to do something, you figure out a way to make it happen.
That's pretty awesome.
And everybody told me I couldn't, including my old brewer who said it was an impossible thing, which was a chip on my shoulder that I used.
Well, I mean, in all reality, you have people who always say, even with them, anything. I mean, you have Marky Fresh, you tell them, you're just another barbershop. Spencer, you're just another, media company. But you take the negative and you really just bust through, and you almost want to say, I told you so. But you don't. You just show them in your work ethic, which is, brew company, to be honest with you, I never hear a negative thing about beer or anything. That's the nice thing, and I don't know if it's because it's local and everybody here is used to you guys. But if you really look at the grand scheme of things, they were, like I said, they were low. And then you guys took it and you elevated it to a point. Now you're building a warehouse and going to distribute across the country, and you have an award-winning beer, and you're to the point where you need to can it inside that little cooler area, which is amazing. And you're fishing it all out. So who delivers it? Is your
I
own
did
company?
Personally.
Really?
Yeah. I wanted to make sure that for the first couple of rounds, I wanted to meet the owners. I wanted to meet the people ordering the beer.
Are bars buying them? Or is it just like a red wine and brew or a Giant Eagle or something?
Well, here's
like
what I did. I reversed the thought pattern and what a lot of breweries are doing, and so I went after the market leaders. Heinen's Red Wine and Brew. There's some places in Dayton. There's a couple places in Columbus. I did a lot of research on that, and so I went there first, even before I canned. And so once I got those accounts, once I got into those accounts, everybody that was next to them, aside from them, and in those kinds of places, they were contacting me.
Wow.
To get my beer. So I didn't have to knock on doors, and I will if I have to. But it's been so far, it's been a lot of positive feedback.
Do you sell them in kegs or is it just cans?
We do both. Yep.
Oh, you do kegs. So you can essentially make it into maybe push it through the bars that are in downtown Willoughby to maybe
Are
use
there
them.
any bars?
Yes, Valentine has our beer on tap. Hook and Hoof has our beer on tap. Garage Bar and Frank and Tony's.
So
Are there any bars that have told you no, that they wouldn't accept your beer in downtown Willoughby?
No.
Oh, okay.
Barrio's carried our beer. Malarkey's has carried our beer. Wild Goose, Morehouse. I mean, they've been pretty supportive.
So, being the beer guy you are, what do you prefer, cans or a keg? So, I've heard people prefer kegs or cans, and I've heard reverse.
I think because it's so new, either I'm the cans.
It's gotta be the cans, so
I don't know
you
if
can
it's
see that.
metal, but it just there's something about it that just tastes like gold.
That's because you see your beer right there in your hand. You see that label.
It's funny how because you get some people who are like Russo has a father-in-law. He's diehard keg guy. Like he has a kegerator in his dining room, and he refuses to drink out of a can or out of a bottle. He's like, I got to have a keg or nothing. And that's why I'm curious, as a person who makes the beer, what they prefer. I mean, it's not like it's a matter of anything, but it's just always interesting to hear.
He will not drink out of a bottle. He will not drink.
He won't.
A keg
has
is
to be a draft
I would say
beer.
by the percentages, a keg of beer at any given time has a better chance of being fresher.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's essentially in a controlled environment. It's not moving from place to place. It's sitting in a cooler, it's going to here, and it's just sitting there. And it's under pressurized, so you're getting the fizz, you're getting all that stuff. No, that's actually pretty awesome. When do you think your warehouse is going to be up and running? Are you going to can there as well? Or is that where you're going to take it?
We actually just bought a bottling line, too, so we'll have a full bottling line. We'll probably use the same canning machine.
Wow.
There. Yeah, so there's 16 fermenters at the new place. We have 4.
No
at
kidding.
Willoughby. So So it'll give us a capability of being a $3.5-4 million company, and to even be, 10 million. That's what we have the potential to do with equipment.
Wow.
That's exciting.
I tell you what, I took a tour of Sam Adams when I went to Boston, and we took a private tour, and this story reminds me a lot of how that started. They basically, like you said, you went to the customers yourselves, you went to bars yourselves, and you're pushing your own product. You're not sending just anybody out there. You're going, I don't care. You want to make sure your product is going to the right people and getting sold. And they're starting out small and going bigger and bigger and bigger. I can actually, so Sam Adams actually controls the water. They get sent back, and they actually look at the levels of the water, and they make them add stuff into it so it matches the same water that was brewed in Boston. Because apparently Boston has one of the best water in the country as far as city goes.
Water is 90% of the beer.
And I could see you being like that to the point where you want it to be controlled, which is actually pretty awesome, because Sam Adams is huge. And they're more of not just a regular beer, they're more of like a specialized beer, which is kind of like how Brewco works too.
Well, Sam Adams was the pioneer. They were the first to do it. They were the first ones to take that risk, and the world thought they were crazy for doing it.
That's okay.
And that's a fact, and that's what he said too. And
Yeah, I mean,
guess where he's at now.
He's in, and I feel like you guys are going to go the same way. I mean, you guys are, like I said, it's amazing. You walk in there at dinner time and you got to wait, and the parking's just outrageous, and like every time you go there, it's always busy. And the food, there's so much different varieties of food. We actually had a Christmas party there, and everybody's like, oh, yeah, I want to go to Brewco. I don't know, what are they going to have? And everybody there found a beer that they liked, food that they liked, and people love I can't believe the peanut butter. See, I'm not a personal fan. I actually don't like that thick porter coffee, type beer. But the people that love it, and that's really cool how that works.
And it's because of those people that I have the opportunity that I have, and I'm so thankful, and grateful, and everyone that posts or says anything to me, I genuinely I love that. That's why I do this.
So do you have a favorite beer?
Peanut butter cup.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I was hoping you were going to say something different.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No, I mean, if you're brewing all of them, they're all yours.
I'm an IPA guy, actually.
Are you?
Yeah, so my preference is an IPA, so our Moon Dance is probably my favorite beer.
Yeah.
Jeremy, question. Are there still plans to renovate that whole area?
Absolutely, yeah.
What's
it's going
going on with
to
that?
integrate with the city's landscape and plans, the architecture that they have. And so you'll see in 2019 that information will be released, and it's going to be really cool.
You got any hot topics you want to drop right now for us?
Yeah, anything
that are
good?
gonna be going on?
Anything you want to push?
I think that in Lakewood we're going to expand and have the same plan for Willoughby.
So you're going to build an actual same kind of Willoughby Brewing Company in Lakewood, or take over, I should say,
You
or
guys gonna
whatever.
bring the train?
Ooh, the
We're going to
train's
get a
good.
real train.
Nice.
That's how we're going to ship the beer.
That's pretty good. Why, so obvious answer, I know why Lakewood, but why not Ohio City, Tremont? Why Lakewood?
We got so it's not going to be a restaurant. It's just a factory. We got a great,
Oh, so
it was a great situation.
Okay.
The setup was great. We negotiated a great price. That was the variable problem. Those are the variables.
Okay.
Why we're in Lakewood, but in Willoughby, we do plan to expand in Willoughby as well.
So now that you'll be having the factory in Lakewood or whatever, are you going to push it in Lakewood like a lot? You're going to start going?
I don't think that Lakewood, because it was brewed in Lakewood. Like, I'll give you an example. I mean, we're in Willoughby, and
Yeah.
I was in Dayton. I was in Columbus.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really. I don't think once you get into the market at that level, I don't think that it matters. I think that when I went to Dayton and everyone knew what the beer was, I was overwhelmed. That's 4 hours away.
Really?
In Columbus, and it was a really great. There's people from Pennsylvania, West Virginia. I'm getting messages, and it's like an amazing feeling. But it's different because it's a new feeling. So it's like once I understand, I have to understand the market. I'm trying to do that now, and then people's response. Then you can kind of feel your way through it.
So have you done tours of other places, like
Oh, yeah,
like companies not telling who you are, just kind of looking around?
I was just at Red
Little
Wine.
spy-
I was at
spy
Red Wine
agent.
and Brew.
No, like
yesterday, asking, hey, how's the peanut butter cup porter, and just to see what they would say. If it's bad, I want them to tell me that.
Right.
But I won't get that unless they don't. So I have to.
Well, have you gone
It's
to other?
hard to get feedback
Yeah.
directly if you're the person standing there.
So
Well, that's why I said it's saying not who you are, like just walking
Yeah.
in and going, hey man, I'm looking for a beer. I heard this, Willie Brewing Company
Exactly.
beer is cool. Have you gone to any brewers and kind of look and seen their operations, or you kind of?
I did a lot
blind?
of that homework in the
Yeah.
last couple of years and prepped for this move
Yeah.
that we're doing now. So yeah, I have done that.
There's actually a few people that will refuse to go and see, like, comedians won't watch other people's specials, or podcasters won't do that. They don't like doing that because they don't want to pick up their work. And I didn't know if that was kind of the same with your. I mean, I guess brewing is brewing, and it depends on the drive and depends on the brewer. But I know a few comedians that refuse to watch anybody else's work.
I think
because they don't want to pick it up.
I think what I was looking for was less technique.
Yeah.
I look at space utilization.
That makes sense.
So like just to see how they utilize their space.
Stuff that doesn't really matter
Yes,
to selling the beer.
I'm
just
not
stuff that
concerned.
systematically it doesn't really matter. It's more of the product that you want to push out. You don't really want to copy. That makes sense. That's cool, man. I tell you what, that's pretty awesome to know that a local place that's not Lakewood or Tremont or anything like that's actually pushing it through. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
We're trying.
That's great for the community too.
Absolutely.
And you got a good response from the community.
Yeah, I've been in a lot of contact with the mayor and some other key people in the community, and it's been great.
I'm pretty excited for it. Not gonna be home late soon.
That's awesome, man. It's good for downtown Willoughby for sure. I mean, it definitely pushes a restaurant atmosphere, which I know that's what they wanted. Back in the day when it was all clubs, and nobody wanted to go down there. That was under 30.
Remember Friends?
Yeah,
Oh,
Friends.
oh, man,
and then
Friends.
John's Cafe. We took that whole scene, and then you guys took it from us, and then you guys just exploded from there. And now, obviously, you're gonna have nightlife. I mean, that's kind of the bread and butter of any bar industry. You're gonna have a nightlife of not a place like you, but like the other ones, like the little
Any
ones that are
downtown
small,
area, you're gonna have that.
Yeah.
which is cool.
Because we've been saying that for a while, that we seem whenever we do go down to downtown Willoughby, it does kind of seem like it's going through like a transition period.
It absolutely
And
is.
it's like the bars that like aren't changing are the ones that you're gonna see just start to drop off, and like with you guys branching into distribution and all that, like that's just what people need to do. They start adapting to that change. But yeah, it definitely is a much different feeling down there, and it's for the good. You know, it is tough to go down there on a Friday or Saturday night. Sometimes you go there by the bars,
Can't.
and there's not really a big crowd. You know?
No, I'd say that I'm quite the opposite. I'd say that if you go down there on a good warm night, dude, you're not finding parking anywhere.
Oh, the parking.
It's impossible. Parking and going somewhere.
Yeah.
Downtown Willoughby in itself, and people who don't go to downtown Willoughby, you're missing out. I mean, it really is. If you want, in all reality, there's good places to eat. There's great places to be. You're going to feel safe. It's nothing really. You can walk down the street and like you go to Tremont, you go to Ohio City, you go to Lakewood. You park down the wrong street, you're going to be robbed. I mean, I'm not saying that actually happens, but you feel like you're going to.
Yeah, that's definitely the biggest objection I think with anybody that wants to go out there.
You have a group of 4 girls. Like, do you think they're going to go park at Tremont by Dave's and be like,
Right.
oh, cool, we'll walk from here?
Or you get towed. You don't know.
Yeah, Rick got towed.
Yeah, I got towed.
He got towed. He didn't know where because they don't.
I
it's
literally
confusing.
went there. I had nowhere to park, and it wasn't even like we didn't look. Like we looked around for a place to park. There was nowhere to park. So I looked at this one spot that was like glowing. You know, it had like a halo above the spot.
There's a reason why.
And I pulled right in, and I knew, and it said tow away. You know, no parking. But I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I just gotta
What
park
did
here.
that
Just
night
take a
cost?
risk.
They're on that shit.
And I pulled in. I cocked my wheels all the way to the other side.
What did that night
thinking,
cost you,
like,
Rick? What did that night cost
I
you?
think you call that the law of attraction.
Yeah, $240. So yeah, but the good thing, my
Happy
buddy was
birthday
with
to
me.
me.
My buddy was with me because I drove. He said he paid for parking.
Yeah. Well,
So,
pay for parking.
That
all
was
right.
parking.
Yeah.
That's part of the parking problem.
Yeah.
It's
Have-
funny.
Have they talked in downtown Willoughby about the parking
Yeah.
issue?
Oh, yeah.
I know it's been an issue for
Park.
a long time. Has been the parking issue. So
Yes.
like, what kind of stuff are they
That's
talking
part of
about?
the releasing of the plans in the 2019 is addressing that parking issue, and we are involved with that.
Oh, are you?
Yep.
Parking garage.
Ooh.
I know they were talking about doing. I know, like Joe and those guys, they were talking about putting a parking garage across the street from the old BP there. Well, is it still in business there?
No, it's not.
It's still out, huh?
It's out.
Yeah, they sold
That's
to a bank.
crazy. It's crazy.
It's crazy because
But-
it got robbed all the time. No, I'm talking about downtown Willoughby
Yeah.
safe, but it got robbed. Like,
you know, you're always, no
couple
matter
times.
where you're at, you're always gonna have the bad.
you
you're
will
always gonna have the bad
you
because
being
it
a
just
gas
happens.
station being open, you're almost asking.
But
for it.
they were talking about putting a parking garage across the street there for a while.
Yeah, so
And
how this will happen is, so actually BP was bought by the bank that's across from Malarkey's.
Oh, okay.
Because that building was purchased as well. That's going to be a boutique hotel. That's going to be really
It's
cool.
gonna be a hotel.
It's going to be a boutique hotel.
So which one is
Really?
that? Is that the U.S. Bank?
Yes.
They're getting ready to US Bank and making a hotel.
But they're moving to the BP location.
Oh, so they're building a new spot.
Yep.
And they sold that for a hotel.
Yep,
Well,
that
that'd
whole
be
street.
very interesting.
And all those, like, yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Wow, that would be huge.
And there's going to be another 300 units of condo apartments going to be
so
on
what-
Todd
yeah,
Field, on the
over
river.
there next to the.
On the river.
What
On the
made
upper
them
parking lot of Todd Field?
That whole thing is going to be a
the whole
parking
thing?
lot.
Oh, really?
The whole thing, yeah.
No shit.
What made them pick a hotel there? I mean, because other than it's pretty cool looking, it's not going to be a very big one, obviously.
No.
I live down there.
It's going to be like
For a
30,
while.
30 rooms.
But what made them do that?
I think that Willoughby is progressing, and you're going to see it be, West 25th without, the Section 8. And to be honest with you, and I think it's going to, like you said,
Yeah.
it's safer. I think having that site nightlife in a community that's not a downtown
Yeah.
Cleveland or the Flats, I think is going to be a really unique situation. And so you'll see 300 more units go down there in terms of living space,
Which
and
is huge.
And you're going to see a lot of transformation in the next
You're going to
4
see
years.
a lot of younger people because essentially those are all modern. So younger people, young business class people
professionals.
are going to come through there. I'm sure the income of that area is going to go up, which is going to make businesses go up. It's almost like just a cash cow at that point. If you market right and you direct it right.
If you
the
listen
problem,
correctly.
it's funny because we were talking about parking. If you added that hotel, it goes to parking. It's like because you're going to have all those cars
But
there.
if you go to West 25th, you go to the Flats,
oh, it's a pain in the ass.
the fact that parking is basically free,
Yeah.
it's really not as bad. We think it's bad because we don't have anything to compare it to. But if you go downtown and you
You say
compare
parking's free?
well, if you want.
Oh, I
mean,
don't know, because you park in that lot behind the U.S. Bank.
Yeah, $5.
It's $5. You park in your lot, it's $5. So
You can
really,
park down at Todd for free.
you park. Yeah, you
Or
gotta
you
hike
can
up
go
that
to
hill.
City
You
Hall.
gotta hike up that hill.
City Hall's free.
It's not that bad of a hike.
And they don't
The
tell
bank-
when
you.
you're drunk?
The bank behind the library is free.
Not that
Yeah.
bad of a hike.
What's that?
The hill.
The
Parking
hill
all the way
there?
down there. Yeah,
Now I'll take my scooter.
yeah.
Yeah, you're electric.
Yeah.
You should do scooter rentals. That's
I
what we
took my
should do.
scooter out today.
Honestly, not
Honestly.
a bad idea for the
Yeah.
good weather.
Yeah.
Period.
Just throwing it out
Or
there.
a little trolley.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
The Willoughby trolley.
I tell you what, so I wonder, and you might know because obviously you're part of the eyes and ears of Willoughby. I wonder if they're going to bring like that bike tour that they have, or maybe Willoughby's too small. The
A
one
lot of those things they will, yes.
What
you
bike
think they
tour?
will?
I
So they
do.
so
You're talking about the pedal bike with
Yeah, in
everybody
Tremont that
sitting
has
on
the
it?
circle and stuff. It's huge. It's very so it's not cheap. I'll tell you that, and it's 2 hours. And what they do is they do tours of bars.
Yeah.
And I know they travel through, and I know a couple of people did it, and they said they go through questionable areas. They're like, well, this is a little sketchy, and that's why Willoughby's great because you could go to Panini's.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, you can go anywhere you want around there, and it's not a bad area, but it's a great, it's like the paddle boat on the water.
But yeah, but you're talking about the pedal bike. Everyone sits at
yeah,
a
everybody
drink.
sits there, you have a couple
There's got
drinks.
to be some sort of liability or some insurance thing or something.
Well, there
that-
is. There's always a
for
liability
the
in any
city. I
business.
know Willoughby is pretty tough on the liquor licenses too.
Yeah,
aren't
but you're
they?
going to see some of that. Like Vine Street's going to get developed, and basically Willoughby's merging with Eastlake. Vine Street's going to be completely developed.
Really?
You're gonna, yes, you're going to see.
Because there's a lot of down businesses over there. I mean, in all reality.
and you see them. They're
From the
all
freeway up?
purchased right now. Yeah.
So you said it's merging with Willoughby.
Yes, that was a big part of the mayor's campaign.
So wait, you're saying Eastlake is merging with Willoughby? The
Probably,
city.
probably from the freeway, I would imagine.
From the freeway.
From the Crewan.
So they're going to
the
go
old
in together
Crewan
and
dealer.
create that whole thing.
They are working
almost like a
together.
Euclid Avenue in Cleveland, just make it look really nice.
Absolutely. Yep. The whole situation is going to go all the way extend.
And it's flying. I mean, 5-10 years ago, that none of that stuff was there, and it's flying, which is really awesome. I mean, that's
Yeah, the two biggest builders in the country invested in Willoughby. I mean, when you have that,
yeah.
I mean, and they can't make enough apartments and they can't purchase enough homes right now. I mean, you cannot buy a house in downtown Willoughby. All the big major realtors, they might not be showing their hand right now, but
Yeah.
they don't even have to look at the house; they'll buy it.
Really.
That's how hot it is.
So you said you're expanding the Brew Co. and everything else. Have you thought about maybe putting in another entrance or?
Absolutely, yeah. The entrance to downtown Willoughby will actually be off of Menor Avenue. So when you go,
I was gonna say, wasn't
that's
there
going to be the
another way?
main entrance. Yeah.
So is that going to be a Vitalones thing? Like, are you going to take in part of Vitalones over there?
I don't think Vitalone's going to have that project. I think the city is.
No, but are you going to run into their?
No,
property?
it'd be where the Todd Field entrance goes down that hill.
Okay.
That's all going to be developed down that hill. There's going to be
Oh, I got
there's
you.
going to be storefront. There's going to be.
So they're going to
condos.
run to Top Field.
Todd Field.
Even the baseball fields are going to go?
No, they have to keep 3 or 4 of them.
Get those kids out of there, man. I'm sick of them.
No, it's that's actually interesting because it's funny because when you say Brewco, people don't know where it's at because it's behind something. Obviously, local people, but definitely a more accessible road. You guys are almost hidden in a way, which is cool, I guess. But if people from out of town, like they look for brew company,
It's
you're
cool
not
if you're
gonna
trying
find
to confuse people. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you go down that one way. You go down that one-way road, and you're like, "Oh shit, where the hell do I go?" And then you go down the other road, and it's like, "Well, okay, I think this is Brewco." And then you got Soul, and you got you. You're kind of in the back, which is hard because you guys are huge. But I've always wondered if you guys would expand on maybe another driveway or change that a little bit, which is good. I mean, it sounds like you've almost thought of everything, which is awesome.
Yeah, he doesn't need you for anything.
No, apparently not. Well, fuck you and fuck your. No, that's
awesome.
You guys. I know you guys took a couple people from us, like Mark and Donnie. So it's fun when we go in there. It almost feels like we,
Cross.
Yeah, Mark Cross. It's fun when we go in there and we run into people that we know because it still feels local. You know, it doesn't give that big like we're a big brand. You know,
That's important. What you just said.
Yeah, no. It
I
really
think
does.
I think that's the most intriguing part of downtown Willoughby is everyone's individual, everyone's independent, everyone
Yeah.
has their own thing, but they're all still community.
So do you guys? So are you? I know you guys used to own other bars. Are you just Willie Brewing Company now?
Personally, I own Willoughby Brewing Company,
And that's it.
and that's it.
Is Willie Brewing Company tied to any other ones or no?
No,
Wow. Okay.
all my cards are in that basket, and especially with the beer thing.
Have you thought of maybe?
It's a pretty big basket.
It's a pretty
Large
good basket.
basket.
I just gotta
Nice
fill the basket.
though. It's a nice basket.
Have you thought of maybe making a venue a little bit bigger on the backside, like for personal parties, for bigger weddings or anything like that?
Yeah, we have actually.
Yeah,
That'd
you
be
know
part of
what's
that.
crazy? As long as I've been at Brewco and as many
didn't
times
know it
as
was
we've
there?
gone there, until Donnie called me like a few months back, or actually it was right at the end of summer or something, called me and asked me to come out there and take a look at like the patio.
Yeah.
He was talking about you guys want to maybe do something over the patio or something like that. I never knew there was a fucking patio behind there. I never made
Oh,
it
that
that
little
far.
one? That little
I
one?
never made it that far through.
There's a whole
I always
other
came in.
area.
Yeah, I had no idea any of that was back there. I've never
Yeah.
made it back there.
Yeah, we definitely have plans. It's a 60-person banquet room, which isn't big enough for weddings. That's the key is to get big enough for weddings, so 120.
Yeah.
So that's part of what we're doing is expanding that
No, that's awesome.
to make it bigger.
That would be huge. The only thing that would suck is like you'd almost have to make another entrance for that alone because you'd hate that the bride walk through the whole damn building.
So you take a scooter.
Yeah. Listen, I know a guy.
Get her golf cart.
I know a guy.
Yeah, he's got 2 of them in his
Badass
thing.
scooters.
Yeah, he's got 20-mile-an-hour electric scooters. Russo's got Russo money. You know, he just invents shit and.
You have a mysterious like aura to you. You
I
always
do?
have, yeah.
Well, nobody knows what you do because you work in the same place as me, and it's just really weird. But it's cool.
Mysterious aura too.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know why.
I don't know if you knew that, but you do.
No, why? What?
I don't know because it's a mystery to me. That's how I can't name it.
It's all right. We can let him be
I'm on that
mysterious.
scooter.
What
bad, so-
what do you do besides electric scooters?
For fun?
What do I do?
For fun?
Yeah, what do you do?
He's got 3 kids, guy. That's the only
Yeah,
thing
I
he can
got-
do is
I've got
just
3
electric
kids.
scooters.
I go home
I
and
didn't
I
even know
try
we had
to.
any kids. See?
Yeah.
I don't have any damn
I
kids.
try to build things and fix shit. And
Like this table.
Yeah, this table, man. I mean,
You
it's
put this
solid.
table on wheels for us. That's
Yeah, this table. So this was a normal conference table, and we turned it into.
we
he
saved
built
the
these
table.
little-
And please don't judge it. It was a 30-minute garage project.
well, it's better than what we were. About.
Better than what Mark and Marky were gonna do. Yeah.
Yeah, no. What do? I go home. I
Nothing.
watch the kids.
I was saying like more of like work. So you guys work together at
Lubrizol.
Lubrizol. Yeah, and then just go home and try to like. I do a lot of side work. A lot
carpentry.
of side work. Yeah.
Carpentry.
Carpentry, anything.
I bet.
Do you guys
Yeah.
see each other at work? Do you guys
Yeah.
see each other work all day long?
Yeah. Well, not all day. We're in different buildings, I
He's in a
guess.
different, well, he's in a different
We're
building,
in the
but
same
it's
building,
attached.
but different areas. I'm in testing, so I'm in the laboratories, and he's in blending, so he's in like the warehouse. They all wear like it's more of a blue collar setting.
Cool.
So it's different. It's like the front of the house, more or less. He makes the product, and I test it. So we're in different
Lubrizol
areas.
has a party every year, right? They get you get a bonus check every year. Is that what? This,
Yeah,
and
they give
and
it-
and
well,
it's a pretty sizable check.
That's starting to go lower.
Usually they charge like, yeah,
Right-
no,
right,
they usually
Tucci?
charge like 6%.
Okay, I
Let's
just
start-
we always have a party every year because you know Vince Tiger,
The what?
Big Vince Tiger. He works for Lubrizol. He brings this party to us every year right after everyone gets
Is it
in.
Lubrizol or Wycliffe?
Yeah,
Painesville.
see, there's a difference.
Or in Wycliffe.
Okay. But they brings this big party because everyone gets this check supposedly, and,
Okay.
and it's like a Friday afternoon.
And they go nuts.
And yeah, it's like it's crazy.
That's awesome. I know.
They've been great though.
You guys, you guys helped us out with the United Way this year too. You donated a couple things, which Donnie helped out with, and then so it's the fun thing. It's like you guys are all about community, which is awesome. You know, you guys really go all out, which is cool. I like that. I like a place that doesn't want to that wants to be part of something and wants to make it better for everybody. You have the mentality of if everybody's better, then obviously I'm going to be better.
Yeah,
That's it.
I've always wanted to ask
exactly
that for like a business owner. I'm sure you get hit up all the time for like donations.
Rick,
and, like,
water.
do you want to donate this? What do you want? Water?
Water, please.
You want to donate this? Can you sponsor this? You know, you guys are always willing to like offer everything. I know I've done golf outings for Lubrizol, and
Yep.
you guys have sponsored holes there. I see your name on sponsorships for like different things. Larry's talking about like the United Way baskets. Is it ever hard to say no to people?
That's a good question.
Because
That's a
I mean,
great question,
I mean,
actually.
even with the barbershop and stuff, like I'm sure you guys get hit up a lot.
Yeah,
It's like,
I mean-
when do you say no? Like what's
When
like,
it's not relevant and it doesn't feel right. You
Yeah.
know, sometimes there could be a different agenda on either side, and so I just gauge it. I just trust myself on that. And a lot of times, I'll give you an example. Lubrizol, I probably have 30 parties a year by
So
Lubrizol.
attracting their business
So I
is
mean,
good.
I might get $100,000 of business just from Lubrizol, and
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about that.
Right.
But because of with working together,
Yeah.
and then it just kind of works out.
I mean, you're also a business owner, Marco.
Yes. See, what I do with that is like we don't have the budget you guys have, so we have a smaller budget to work with. So we try to do as much as we can.
But your trade is a whole lot different than what ours is too. I mean, to give a haircut away that takes your personal time, which is actual money.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of variables. That's interesting.
Yeah, you give him $100 and you go, man, it's $100.
They gotta come
And
in-
he gives him
they gotta
$100.
come in
Yeah,
and
but
use
you
it.
figure
Yeah.
that you give $100 to somebody, you know, you don't technically, from a business standpoint, give away $100. You know, you probably half of that maybe,
40%.
about 40% of that. But then you're getting somebody in, and when you do get somebody
You get
in
a customer.
for a gift card or something, most likely they're bringing more people with them. They're buying more food, they're buying drinks, and you know, usually they're exceeding that gift card. And you know, you should be end up getting your money back. So I mean, that's something. But like
John
with a haircut-
Tafford actually came up with a whole
What's that?
system for that. John Tafford, he actually came up with a whole system for that.
Bar
basically,
rescue.
well, it basically,
Who is that? Who's John?
He's
John Tafford's he's on a bar rescue show, but he's basically like a
That's
like
the
a
guy that
res-
would have killed us at John's, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like basically what he would say,
He
like
would
if you're a new
murdered us.
business, you have somebody walk in and they ask for a new customer, you hand them like a coupon to get like free
was it
meal
like
or whatever.
with the 3 visit thing?
Yeah. So then the next time you go, hey man, you got to try my chicken. You come back in, you write on back a card and on a different color. You know it's a second visit, and we're done. Hey man, you got to try my cheesecake, and you write on back write on something else that try cheesecake. So then basically they say like 70% will go. You'll
After
keep
the third.
70% after 3 visits. 70% of those customers will stay if your food's good and if you offer this. It's essentially the same thing. If you have gift cards circulating everywhere. I mean, couples are going to go out to eat, and to be honest, like people like Rick who have like kids, they're not going to want to spend a ton of money. So they go out and they go, "Whoa, we got free gift cards!" Like he did the other day. Got those gift cards from Painesville, and he got
For first place win.
for first place at Christmas.
First place, grand prize.
So
In
you're,
case
so
anyone's
where,
asking.
where'd you?
In case anyone's asking.
So where did you get the gift cards to?
Anywhere.
Well, let's see. It was actually the first time Painesville did it. Usually, it's for the Christmas lighting contest.
Well, I want to use it though. Just probably an example. Has anyone got a gift card for someone you've never been before? Restaurant?
Yes.
Okay.
I have, you get it for like Christmas or something like. So, that's a good question. To be honest with you, no. I mean, I guess I've maybe once or twice, but no, I never really got anything that I have not gone to. No.
See, Painesville's doing something that actually might be eventually something that would be good for Willoughby too. It's called Painesville Bucks. They're like like you saw when they come in. It's almost like Monopoly money, but it just shows up like little fake-looking $5 Monopoly bills that show up, and it just says Painesville Bucks on it. And then they give you like a whole list that came with the certificates, that like a whole list of places that accept them in their city. So it's almost like a
From a city standpoint, that's great.
Yeah,
From
it's
a
like a-
business standpoint, it might not be
sucks.
great.
So-
yeah, I don't know how they have the like inner.
Well, there
workings
might
worked out.
be a thing.
What I'm thinking is that they have some sort of like treasurer or somebody that is in charge of that. And like as a business, if I came to you guys at Bruco and I ordered food and I gave you $50 worth of these certificates, I'm assuming that you would probably turn them in or submit them into the city, and then they would give you a check or something at the end of a month or at the end of a year, 3 months or whatever it might be. But that's what I got paid with, $75 in Monopoly money.
For winning first place.
And it worked.
For winning first place.
So
First place.
So
It worked for who though? It worked for the city.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. Well, Painesville
That's
needs
what I mean, it
so
worked
Painesville
for the
needs to
business.
paint
Yeah.
themselves up a little bit. Let's be honest.
They used to give us, though, Home Depot gift cards.
So a $100 gift card if I give it away, and I know who I gave it to because
Yeah.
I know that person. I know
Right.
a little bit about that person.
Yeah.
I know when they're coming in, they make a reservation. It gives me the ball's in my court to what you were just talking
Yeah.
about in gaining a regular customer, which in our game that's the goal.
That's worth more than $100 for sure.
100% that. So a $5 gift thing that someone came in and I don't even know who it was and they left, I lost right there.
Yeah.
Can't engage with them.
I can't because I don't know. So
Right.
so
Right.
it's like it's really thinking about it like what you said, you know.
Yeah.
And I think if they don't come in 3 times, I believe it's like you have a 14%
It
chance.
truly is an actual
so
science.
14 to 70%.
And what that does is it helps you if you are greeting or Donnie, whoever is greeting that customer, it helps you control the environment that they're getting too. So customers on average, and I'm pretty sure everybody here can agree, if you get greeted by the owner or manager, you feel pretty cool. Like you're like, oh wow, they really do give a shit. You know what I mean? And then they get something good, and then if you hear something bad, you fix that.
And
which
I
is good.
and I call it +1. And so what I try to instill in trading is that give the customer a +1 experience. So that, if a customer walks into the barbershop and they walked out like they got it fair, even, right? They're not excited about it, right? So if they feel that they got +1, then I think that's the goal. So they got one up on you in a sense,
Right.
not necessarily literally, but like wow, they went above and beyond. They did something that I didn't expect.
Yeah.
They just the little subtleties that you can do. And I know like with the barbershop, there's people that they would book 2 years out if they had to, and that's the +1.
Oh,
if I
it's
remember
I would
crazy.
book 2 years out if I was able.
The barbershop,
If
I tell you,
someone would give me some hair, I would book 2 years out.
the barbershop alone is a crazy thing to think about. I mean, and that's actually interesting how you say that they book 2 years out. In retrospect, and I've been saying this for a while, the barbershop has essentially become the tattoo parlor. People. I mean, you hear tattoo artists like booking out like crazy and going year out. You can probably, and Marco could probably vouch for this. He can literally set a schedule for a year and
You
probably
changed the
probably
game.
fill it mostly.
Yeah, dude. I mean, nowadays, like, it's 90% of your selfie. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Like, you're always in social media taking pictures, so you're always concerned
Right.
about how you look.
Right.
Like, this day and age, this tech day and age,
Yeah.
has really brought the barber game up a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And
so,
people are
yeah.
paying more. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, $5-10 haircut. I mean, and that's it. And they call it, and you sit in the barbershop, you shoot the shit. And then it kind of went away with the best clips and everything else. And then it kind of reformed again, which it's now reforming into that old school bust your balls mentality. But yet you're paying for a premium, which is really weird because you're getting guys that normally would never do that. I mean, think about it. Can you imagine that 20 years ago, our dad's going, I'm not paying $20-$30 for a haircut? What are you, crazy? Now it's normal. It's normal to do that.
It is normal because you gotta understand, those are prices from back in the day. When
Yeah.
the gas was cheaper.
Well, no, but I'm
significantly
saying
cheaper.
in general, men usually, let's call it 10 years ago, we were paying $10. You go to a $10 place, and nobody gave a shit about places like yours. I mean, you were working at a place like that for a while,
See, what we did is we incorporated so much value
Yeah.
to that price point.
Yeah.
From online booking to reserving your spot. Because if you go to like one of those $10 shops,
Would you say that's a +1?
it's definitely a +1.
Trademark trending.
You're spending 2 to 3 hours just waiting
Yeah.
to get a haircut.
Yeah.
And then you got to get your haircut. So you're probably there like a majority of your day.
Yeah.
So booking that appointment right there and then that convenience is I think is worth the price point.
Yeah.
But then we have beer, we have
Yeah, it's like I said, it's turning into the cool tattoo part. You're spending an hour on a haircut. 45 minutes to an hour on some
and
haircuts.
It allows us to spend more time with the client instead of just rush him in the chair and then get him out
And
because there's another guy waiting.
And that's what I was saying.
know?
The mentality is totally different. Like I said, you come in as a kid, bam, out the door. You shoot the shit if you know somebody. If not, you see you later. And it's 10 minutes out of your day. Now it's 45 minutes. I mean, obviously it depends.
Which is good, but I mean, honestly, like another perspective from that too is I come to your barbershop, right? I don't have hair.
Yeah, obviously they messed up. Look.
I bring my son,
Yeah.
and sure, I could take him to best cuts or sport clips, whatever the hell it's called.
You might like sport clips
Or just
now.
shave his head in my bathroom or whatever the hell I need to do and spend $10 or $12 for a haircut. But, like, what really helps me why I bring him here, too, is to show him how people actually interact in this world with each other, because these kids nowadays don't have interactions like we all have had growing up, where you actually have real talk and everything's not sugar-coated. You don't have to worry about offending everybody because everybody actually, you know, are real people. So, like, bringing him here is worth the $25 for his haircut, you know, even though it might be more than what I could normally pay for a kid's haircut, and I could care less.
I never say anything like it with the kid stuff. That's crazy.
But
Yeah, that's a crazy perspective.
That's really what it is. Is like, I mean, listen, my wife works in a salon. I can get free haircuts for him every single time. I could take him, she could take him to work, set him in the chair, and I'm sure one of the girls there would be like, oh yeah, you know, zip him up a little bit. But it's like, no, like, I'm taking this kid to the barber shop, have him around real people, around real conversations.
It's almost like a manly thing.
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
like a manly,
Yeah.
like, these kids
is.
nowadays are so, like, softened. And, like, even my own son, like, I would just see, like, the things he does, and it's like, man, like, your friends are, not that they're boring, they're good kids, but it's like, your friends are boring. Like, I remember back in the day growing up.
We're terrorized.
Yeah,
We
and
terrorized
I
the
remember
whole
I would go to the
neighborhood.
barber shop, Al's Barber Shop in downtown Willoughby, next to Clydefield. I used to go there to get my hair cut, and I would go in there, and I'd ride my bike up there. I'd take my roll of quarters or whatever the hell I got from cutting grass, and I'd go up there and get my hair cut. And I remember being in there, I was like the only kid, and there was like all these old guys, and Al the barber would be there. And it was actually where, like, I really learned how, like, people communicated.
Well, they
outside
shot
of
the
just my
shit.
friends.
They
Yeah.
didn't care if they offended Actually, they were almost gunning
Al's
for it.
Barber Shop was the only place I ever started swearing, like, out, like, you know, openly swearing when I was growing up. It was
That social
cool.
aspect. I never really thought about that perspective, but yeah, no, that once you brought that to light, I mean, that's huge for, you know, kids growing up, especially in this digital age where they're consumed by their, you know, devices.
Jeremy, have you noticed with the social aspect being part of that? Have you noticed it's tougher to find servers or anything, or
No,
bartenders?
But I could
or-
apply it, and this is actually kind of interesting because this is something I just started to think about, and the timing was it's perfect.
Yeah.
So I started to personally just as a social experiment a little bit. I started just cleaning the windows and opening the door during dinner time.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Simple, right? Simple. You would think that I gave somebody $1 million.
Yeah.
Because I opened the door for them.
Yeah.
So in one way, it's sad that that's where we're at. But on a business side, it's a huge opportunity. Think about it. Such a subtlety of opening the door is going to impress and overwhelm somebody. Just think about having just basic manners. So
Right.
teaching your servers and you guys do such a great job with the barbers, is that just teach them how to treat people at a basic level, and it comes off really strong. Because right now, like the digital age, you're right. It's just there's no respect.
Oh, it really is, and I'm not going to say all kids are like that, because a lot of kids are actually communicating on their video games, or whatever. They're communicating, but they're not communicating in a
communication, though.
There's no one that actually punches them in the face like when they were younger.
No, there's no real argument. The only argument, you know, kids get in an argument now, they just
right. But what
hang
I'm
the phone
saying
up.
is,
It's like, there's
when
not-
you have a
They
situation
poke each
like
other on Facebook.
yeah.
when you have a situation like that where you're in the hospitality field, whether it be barbershop or, you know, restaurant or whatever, you have people that are going to be looking for jobs, 16, well, especially you know, 16, 17, 18, and, you know, your barber's going to school. They might learn in school. But I know in your guys' field specifically, they have to be very good at talking to people. Because a barber can get away with a couple cuts a day without talking, but eventually they got to have some kind of personality. And the same thing with you. They have to have a personality with you.
It's the relationship you build with that client that keeps them coming back.
Right.
Plus, you have to have good service. You got to give them great service. You got to act like you care.
Right.
But it's the relationship that you build that really sustains, you know, the clients coming back and you know, telling their friends about the shop.
Right.
So I mean that's another huge part of that.
It's definitely word of mouth, but and that's what I'm. So I think about that stuff. I don't have kids, and so for me, I don't know, but I know like my nephew and my niece, like you try to get them to talk, because it really is.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to get a job one day, and when we were kids, we got a job mostly at fast food or whatever, dishes. I mean, Kmart, wherever we found them, we had to talk to people, but we knew how. And and this isn't even a knock on the generation. I truly believe that they don't know how to do it.
They don't.
And they just stumble through any simple conversation, to the point where I wonder if it's, let's say 10 years down the road, maybe 15 years down the road, if it's going to be really tough for you guys to find people, to find people. I mean, in all honesty, I mean, McDonald's is already jumping forward on that and getting automated tellers. So there goes more people who aren't interacting.
More robots.
The jobs that are starting out at 16 years of age that learn how to interact. You know, we're all awkward. I mean, we're all idiots back in the day. I mean, I'm sure you said at your county or whatever job, you're like, I don't. Somebody yell at you. You know what the hell to do.
Some things don't change, Larry.
Do what?
Some things don't change, though.
No, that's right. So, and that's what I'm saying. It's just, I was socially awkward when I was a kid. And I learned from that, from being in those experiences, from being yelled at because you're being an idiot or whatever. And I'm just afraid that, you know, it's going to be tough. And I don't know if that's maybe the road that you guys have thought about. Or is it even legitimacy to even think about that, you know?
I honestly have never thought about that. But when we do have, you know, kids in our chair, we do try to have a conversation with them. You know, just kind of, you know, talk about whatever they're into, sports, whatever the thing is, just try to get something out of them. And the parents love that a lot.
Yeah, I believe that.
Because they don't know how to do it because they're so far removed. Because
well, you give them a cell phone and you give them an iPad, and you know this too. You give them this and you go, babysitter. And you walk away. And it's and I've been over Rick's house many of times. I mean, he's got kids everywhere. You know, friends. Well, no, he's got 3 kids, but their friends are over and et cetera. And Rick will be needing to do these side projects, and Lauren will be at work, and he goes, babysitter. And I'm not knocking that because I'm doing the same thing.
It was Oregon Trail for us when we were younger. Right?
Yeah, it was the crappy ass computers we had.
San Diego.
And no internet. I mean, we were breaking shit and hurting. I have scars all over me from hurting myself because you grab your buddy and you go, hey, guess what you can do? And you hit him with a stick, and then you walk away and something's caught on fire, you get grounded, etc. But nowadays, man, Rick and I live in a very big neighborhood, and I tell you what, I've never had a kid knock on my door and ask to shovel my driveway or cut my grass. Never.
If somebody even knocked on your door,
now it's freaked out. Now it's check the cameras. Everybody's looking at my wife's looking at the camera going, who's at the door? Who's at the door? Oh my God, they're hiding. You're like, why the fuck's the doorbell's ringing? I go, I don't know. Somebody wants to talk to us.
Someone rang my doorbell. My kids are diving. My wife's
diving. 100%. You go to Rick's house, ring a doorbell. There's at least 5 minutes of buffer before somebody comes to the door, and then you get this little.
I look at my kid. Who's at the door?
You get this little there's immigrants in there. They're hiding from the government. They just peek through the window and they go, oh, it's only Larry, and then nobody opens up the door because they don't know how to open up the door. Rick's like, God damn it, and he comes over and unlocks it. But it's funny how that works. That I've said it for years. I swear to God, the first kid comes to my damn house and asks, I have a very big, inexpensive snowblower. I have a very nice lawnmower. I tell you what, a kid comes to my house and knocks on my door, they're gonna do it. I'm gonna let them do it because that's how I made all of my money growing up. I bought my first bike on that. I bought my first 4-wheeler on that. And
it's a great life lesson.
It is 100% because you get rejected. You learn how to work for your money. 100% work for your money. And at the end of the day, you learn responsibility because you're out there huffing and puffing all day. I live in the neighborhood, and I literally had a setup. I had a buddy. I had a lawnmower, a riding lawnmower, and I had a push mower. And I built something to put my gas tanks on it. And all day, I would hit every house that had it. And I had real customers I would do it every week. Real customers that would do it for me. And the same thing, I went with shoveling. I saved up enough money. I bought a 4-wheeler. I put a plow in the front of a 4-wheeler, and I freaking did all the driveways like that. These kids nowadays, man, I tell you what, I'll be out there just doing damn driveway, and they just walk right by. You go, what the hell is wrong with them? I would ask somebody in the middle of the damn shoveling. I'm like, hey, you want me to finish that? $5. All right. And then you go roller skating, whatever. It's amazing how that works.
I'm telling you that eventually, and given my side of the opinion on this is because I do trade work, outside of Lubersville.
Oh, you're screwed.
Trade work is going to be an extremely, extremely successful job for somebody if kids actually can get into it. If you know kids that can get into trades, the cost of all of these trades is going to go so.
I wouldn't even say getting into trades. I'd force them into it.
It's ridiculous. Like trade work is going to be a 6-figure job. For anybody,
it already is in some points.
For the same principle.
I'm saying for anybody that's even decent.
Yeah.
Like right now, like you have to be really fucking good at trades to make an honest living.
Yeah.
In the future, if you are even like remotely good at it, you're gonna make a fucking.
But you have found in your
kids do not fucking pick up a saw. Kids do not turn wrenches. Kids don't know anything. I mean, think about it right now. There might be a couple, so I might look like an asshole here, but
No.
how many people in this room know somebody under the age of 21 that you would trust remodeling your bathroom or doing electrical or plumbing?
None. To be honest with you, I wouldn't trust anybody under 30.
So like that generation,
under 30.
That generation is here of like these kids that should be like apprentices, like learning trades and doing carpentry and doing electrical and pipe fitting.
In all reality, man, there's only 20 years of
dying
us.
Off. I know
20
everybody
years.
in that field. Like there is no talent in the trades field.
I've heard you call it a couple times to people going, let me guess, this person's saying this and saying that, and they go, yeah. And that's how you've gotten jobs.
Yeah.
The one couple that came to your house and got and picked up built the deck for them.
Yeah.
They said we had a buddy who did it, and he just didn't show up or
nothing. They were talking about quotes. They came to buy a bookshelf.
Yeah.
They bought a bookshelf from me, and I ended up selling them
a deck. Huge deck. A beautiful, and they were
but I called
so
them.
happy about it.
They told me about their experience, and they probably talked for about 30 seconds. And I literally laid out the whole conversation to them. I said, oh, let me guess. They told you this. They told you how big is it? And I said, no, you're going to be at this. I could guarantee it. Went through the whole thing. They ended up getting a quote from a company I told them to get from. And sure enough, it was like that exact same price. And I ended up going out there and selling them a job. But I'm telling you, man, people are if you don't know how to do stuff, you're fucked.
Well, everybody's focusing on IT, and they're predicting, even Mark Cuban saying, hey, don't go to IT.
No,
it's going to be saturated. I mean, you figure IT is going to be the new. Well, he's already in this prime, but IT is going to be the new Lakeland business certificate, degree where you're going to make $40,000 a year and nobody's going to give a shit about you. You're going to sit in a cubicle because it's all going to be remote. After a while, I mean, IT is going to be sit at your house and remote, and then they're going to have 5 people be able to do it all, or they're going to create something that's going to fix it automatically, and. So you got things like you, like servers, and you have people that do construction, and you have haircuts. They're not going to create shit for that. You're going to have that. Maybe not in every industry. Maybe not in every industry.
An app can't get you through that stuff.
No, it's true. Real life situations on the spot that are reactionary that you have to deal with, one at a time.
100%.
Customer's angry, and you're an 18-year-old server. You're right there. You have to deal with it.
It's your. I mean,
and they might go home crying, but I know that
that's
the best thing that could ever happen to that person.
Oh yeah.
And it's not the server's fault. And I know not in your industry, it's a little different. Obviously, if the barber messed up, the barber messed up.
Shitty haircut.
But yeah, I mean, and that's the truth.
You can't hide it.
Yeah. Well, even in construction, it's the same thing. But in your industry, it can be not your fault. It could be not your fault.
What's worse probably in this industry is you don't know sometimes if you piss people off.
There's 5 people touching that.
If people have a bad experience, that's got to be the hardest part is some people, like myself, like I won't complain at restaurants. I won't complain about it.
I'm the same way, too.
I won't complain about shit.
Yeah, I normally don't.
I'll sit there, like, I know pretty much, even if something's not good, I could pretty much eat it. Like, I'll suffer through my meal, I'll eat my food, and I'll just say to myself or my wife, like, I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
Again. And like the waitress would be like, oh, how is everything? It's like, oh, everything was
Fine.
great. We're great. Good job. Everything. Here's your tip. And we would leave. And like, that's the hardest part. Like if I fuck something up in construction, something's leaking, something's visible, like people aren't going to accept it. People aren't just going to keep their mouth shut if Rick fucking built something wrong and they're looking at it and they have to look at it their whole life. But if people can just say, here's the bill, and they
biggest
just walk
ongoing
out.
issue, biggest thing in the
that's
restaurant
hard.
business.
Like how do you
combat
that?
You can't combat that. It's
like
unfortunate enough
the
you
biggest
can't.
thing when you see it is like the people, and I know you've done it. We've done it when we've gone out.
Yeah.
Is like if you order something to eat and you barely eat it, and the waitress will come and be like, "Oh, you're not getting something wrong." Like, no, it's good. You want to take it home? It's like, no, I'm good. You can take it. Like
right there is a flag.
That should be like a flag. Like, hey, I just bought this whole meal and I didn't touch it. It's just.
So I have to rely on the server being intelligent enough or having enough common sense or whatever you want to call that gray area to be able to identify that and then report that. And then I have so there's a lot of variables there, and that's a big struggle.
Even people are okay.
Because more people are like that than you think that just won't say
100%. Most people are like that. But what I'm
Spencer.
saying is, people in general don't like to complain about their meal.
When they're confronted, they don't like confrontation.
Right.
They love to complain.
Even if
that same person will go home and complain online.
Even if
trust me.
the online people.
As soon as they get behind their computer, they complain.
Online's irrelevant because most of the time, I take those with a grain of salt.
Larry, let me stop you there. Online is not irrelevant. Go ahead.
if you listen to me, wow. If you take like Yelp, if you take Yelp and stuff like that, you're gonna look at most of the people. Most of the people go on there and are gonna complain, but you don't get a lot of positive feedback online. It's 80% to 20% all the way around. I mean, most people go on there. I'm gonna complain. I'm gonna get what I want. They go on Twitter. It's so accessible just to go. I want to complain and get what I want.
Well, it's just like anything.
Most people that have a good time are just gonna leave. Right. And then they go out their day because it's not messing with their day at all. And then you get the aspect of you going, well, I'll take it off your bill. Well, now people feel bad about taking money away from you, so they don't want that either. So it's more comfortable for everybody.
That's a confrontation
to leave
and
then go to Twitter and hit it.
Let me run a scenario by you guys so I can kind of get your opinion on this. So I was at a Mexican restaurant in downtown Willoughby. I'm not going to say which one, but I mean, it's pretty.
There's a couple.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple in the area, but anyway, so I ordered queso and chips at the beginning of the meal.
Yeah.
And I ordered an entire bowl. Of queso. Now, mind you, I was a kind of a regular at this restaurant. I went there a few times. I ordered a bowl of queso and the chips. The tacos would come out 15 minutes later, and then I would pour the remaining queso on my tacos. So the tacos actually didn't come out until an hour and 25 minutes later, after I was told the tacos were on a 15-minute wait. And I actually said, can you take this back in the kitchen and just heat up this queso so I can use it on my tacos? The server actually had the audacity to kind of attack me and say, no, we don't heat up queso. I go, well, can I get a new one? Because I can't use this on my tacos because it's like a hardened block of cheese at that point.
Hour and 15 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So she kind of actually put the situation back on me, the customer, and kind of tried to make me feel stupid for asking to have the queso heated up.
Well, I'm going to interrupt that because it could be a bad server, but here's another scenario. It could be bad ownership, and I'll tell you why. Because if that server has expectations that the restaurant's more important than the customer,
right.
For instance, she would have to pay for that food if she were to take those tacos off. She knows that was an hour and 15 minutes, but if she doesn't have the option or choice or the availability to take care of the customer the way she needs to, maybe deflecting the situation is her best defense mechanism. So it could be that situation.
It could
I've
be.
seen that a lot too, which is really damaging.
But what you need to do, I guess I'm not in the industry, but if you look at it in a general aspect, I assume, Spencer, that you made them take it off the bill eventually. I would assume so. Or did you actually go with it?
No, I actually paid for the queso.
Wow.
The girl she kind of scowled at me and said, "Well, let me get a manager." And I'm like, okay, I mean, it's fine. I thought actually just as a server that would be just kind of like common sense, and you wouldn't make the customer feel dumb.
This is a weird thing. It's like when you have, let's use that as a great example. You have a customer walking in, and we'll go back to the whole keeping the customer thing. It's what, $4 for a queso, something like that.
Talking to the mic, Larry.
It's $4 for queso, right?
Still talking to the mic.
I'm still.
But is it her
$4
or is it the business's $4?
Monitor.
Is it not?
Yeah.
Is it $4?
Yeah, it's $3-4. Yeah, it's $3-4 for a taco.
Let's say $4.
Most places.
You're really gonna push $4? You know what I mean?
$4 over.
But who's making that call?
So you should
that
go.
$4 adds up if you got.
No, but what the waitress should do, you should go. Okay, well, let me come back. Go to ask the manager. Go, hey, listen, it's been an hour and 15 minutes. He's waiting on his food. His queso's cold. He uses it for his tacos. What would you recommend me to do?
Now, here's a good question. Do you think that this waitress went to a management or ownership to ask them or relate the situation? Would you say
This was right at spur of the moment.
Yeah, this was spur of the
She
moment.
gave you a block of salt right at the table.
No, I mean, the queso was soft when I got it, but an hour and 25 minutes later, it was like a block of cheese.
No, I'm saying when you asked her to warm it back up, she just set a block of salt on the table and told you pound away at it.
I mean, for the most part, yeah. I mean, in to be honest, in an aggressive way.
She did not probably go to management.
Okay, so if she did go to management, you said you were sort of a regular there at that point in time. What would you think the response would be? What would they want her to have done? Or is it tough to say?
I mean, I can say what I would have done for.
No, but don't go. But try to put it in perspective of what that brand, what they would have done.
Yeah, I wouldn't say what you would have done. Yeah.
I mean, based on other
experiences there, yeah.
You know what's weird is sometimes you miss picking up on other things, but it's something like that sets you off to open your eyes towards that other brand and other things that brand represents that I'm just not aligned with. So I just chose to stop frequenting that place.
Do you think it was more how she said it to you? What if she would have told you like politely that she couldn't do it? Do you think it still would have been the same feeling?
She would have thrown her owners under the bus, though, if that were the case.
Well, for one, I don't think that in any scenario, it's okay to combat disrespect with respect. And I wasn't being disrespectful, and then she was disrespectful for without me being disrespectful to her.
Right.
So I would just start there in saying that even if I wasn't disrespectful to her, but even if I was, she shouldn't have been disrespectful to me. That's how I feel.
Especially in the hospitality industry. Mm-hmm. You should always try to be the best case scenario, but it just sucks that they've lost the customer. In retrospective, $4.
Have you gone back?
Oh, yeah.
That's never been back there.
Really,
Never?
I mean that's $4.
And we're talking about this right now.
Right.
So there's a great point. The negative experience. That person's 10 times more likely to skip.
Absolutely.
So there is
because it doesn't
$100. There's no price you can really put on that.
So
that's tough because then you're not going to go back there.
Right.
Not only am I not going to go back there.
If people talk about it, you're going to talk the restaurant or whatever it is probably.
That's not honest.
You'll be honest. You'll probably say like, "Hey, I don't like it."
That's not really my style. I'm not dramatic like in terms of down talking, but I will say it's just not a place I choose to frequent. Also, anyone can vouch for this. Anytime we were going in there, we were taking 6 to 10 people, usually new people in the restaurant.
You're with us, we're not going there.
That's what we're talking about. Where we're saying like a customer leaves. Maybe the managers didn't even get wind of what happened, and now the manager doesn't know that he just lost 5-6 people.
That's
on a regular basis over queso being cold, and it's like that's got to be the hardest part of the restaurant business are the people that leave that don't tell.
But again, that's
people that are mad are probably the easiest ones to deal with.
Oh, absolutely, man. Some of our best regulars. The reason I met them. There's a reason why I meet anybody I meet.
Yeah.
I would say 30% of the people I meet in the restaurant is because they were upset, angry,
at some point,
aggressive, rude, all these things. I get an opportunity. It's an opportunity.
So, and that's what it's just funny because that's what I said. If you most comments are negative online because of that or in person, because if it doesn't mess up your day, you're not going to think about it. Period. And that's you think about how many restaurants you go to. You get the meal you actually asked for, whether it be subpar, whatever. You go, you get your meal, you go on your day. You don't even think about it anymore. You don't even think about it. I just had it today. I'm actually starving. I'm actually starving from it. And I've even said when we were leaving, this is nowhere near the other restaurant we went to.
Go back there and order that same thing?
No, absolutely not. No, but the waitress, to be honest with you, is very pushy.
She did smack his dick. She smacked his dick.
I got scolded.
So without saying the name, we went and got something to eat, and before we started this, and
I'm talking to you.
I mean, we were kind of on our phone, so let's leave that as that. But what I asked for, I'm like, hey, can you get this with just broccoli? I don't want anything but broccoli. And she looked at me and said, no. I go, well, what do you mean? She goes, no, you get this. And I go, well, can I not get that? She goes, no. And I go, wait. So I get, and it got to a certain point where I'm like, forget it. Just give me what I got, and I will just get rid of it. I didn't want it. Like I'm like, just don't put it on my plate. And then Marco was not, because we didn't expect for her to read our orders back 3 times. She read our orders back, and then she read our orders back again, and Marco wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I thought it was all finalized and ready to go, and I was asking, I think, Larry a question because he was across the table.
Yeah.
And she scolded me.
Yeah, scolded.
I saw it commenting. I was sitting there like I'm at the end of the table. Listen, these two are sitting over here on the end of the booth, and which Larry pile drives some poor girl into her meal.
Yeah,
that's irrelevant. No, we don't have to.
These two are talking at the table, and the waitress is standing here, and she starts talking to me, and I knew because she goes, "Sir," and I look. I'm like, "Oh my God, they're talking. They don't hear her." I'm like, "No, Marco, please acknowledge her." She's like, "Sir." He doesn't say anything. I'm like, "Oh no," and she's like, "Sir." I'm talking.
So you guys were gonna spend your money at this establishment. And
A lot.
and you guys were held
money.
hostage.
A lot of money. It wasn't McDonald's prices. I'll tell you that.
It was one of the weirdest orderings I've ever
So
done.
here's the thing. At the end of the day,
veggies.
the waitress didn't speak very much English. So that might have been part of the issue.
Well, that was a huge part of the issue.
So, and then they didn't know how to substitute anything, and it just came to the point where you're getting what you're paying for, and the food was freaking terrible. That chicken was terrible. Yeah. But at the end all be all, I'm not going to go there, and because this isn't the first time it's happened. Every time I go there, it sucks.
But you are very picky.
Regardless if I'm picky or not, if I say, "Can I just have broccoli?"
I know.
You should be able to say, "Okay."
Well, who's this experience about? Everybody who walks in that door, the experience is about the customer.
Yeah,
right?
even if I'm
even
picky.
be 1% about the server.
You know what?
I mean,
Go ahead.
so I will say, in a way, the experience isn't for everyone. So let me give you an example. You have someone that comes in and tries your peanut butter cup porter, okay? And they say, "Man, I wish this tasted more like peanut butter." It's an award-winning beer. Tell them to fuck off.
I tell you, I wouldn't go to Chef Ramsay, way.
Yeah, like some people just.
I get exactly what you mean.
If you know you got it, you got it, and it's like
You just go, hey, if it's not for them. Just like some people don't want to go to Marky Fresh.
Nicely tell them to fuck off.
There's certain people that come in looking for something for
You want to tell them that?
Yeah, I mean, some people.
No, I mean this is a very relevant thing, and it happens often. It's a very difficult situation to handle because when somebody is coming in with an agenda, looking for something for free, they create the drama, but the drama they create is very sensitive, and so it's very difficult to maneuver through it, to call somebody's bluff and to actually, ask them, hey, you know what, you're not welcome here. Especially this day and age with all the social media.
So you find it easier
probably
just to
sitting
fold
there like
and
this
just call
with
it?
their phone,
I would say
recording you the whole time.
Unless they really assault or insult
Yeah.
or do something destructive to my staff.
Yeah.
Where I think that's going to have, and I didn't stand up for them. Then,
Right.
then that's really the only time I'm really going to stand up. But if it's just me and it's a $50 tab, and it's unfortunate that people have this power, when they walk into a restaurant.
Because the hard thing is too is whenever you deal with these people at the table, chances are there's somebody sitting at the table next to them, probably watching the way that you handle it. So it's like sometimes even if you know people are calling bullshit, you're almost taking care of them for the table next to them that's sitting there watching you handle it, even though you know these people are bullshit.
But that's the hospitality field, unfortunately.
I know, it sucks.
That's everybody's out to get something.
But then again, it's like with the World Cup beer, peanut butter cup porter. Somebody does, there are people who come in from competitors and they'll actively say this sucks, and I will stand up and say something along those lines, like don't drink it. It's
right. I mean,
the product speaks for itself.
I know.
You don't have to drink it.
I know me, and like I said in the beginning, it's just not a beer for me. But I'm not going to down it.
You respected it. You were very.
I know what I like, and just like sucks because I don't like it. I'm going to say, I don't like that coffee peanut butter. That's not for me. But for me to call it like something that it's terrible or something like that because it doesn't have this, doesn't have that, that's ridiculous. It just doesn't. But the sad part is, there's many people out there that just do that. They just go, "This isn't for me. You should cater to me," and that's it. And you go, "Okay,
that's the fine line.
I don't want to cater to you."
The fine line.
Guys, even though I got scolded earlier tonight, that
Sushi was delicious.
I'm still getting over it.
Is that what that is?
I'm still gonna go back.
Yeah.
We're there. Yeah. You guys like sushi?
Yeah,
sushi's good.
Sushi was delicious.
Well, now we just gave it up. So
Hey, we're gonna take a 2-minute break here. Who's this break brought to us by, Larry?
Oh
yeah. This is sponsored by Marky Fresh, where you keep looking fresh, man. I tell you what, I love that place.
Thank you, man.
I do. I love it.
You guys should do tattoos.
We were thinking about that, and I can't draw.
Yeah. Well, you could do terrible looking stick figures.
If you guys want that tattooed on you, I will make it happen.
We taking a break?
Taking a break. Here we go.
And we're back. Guru Podcast, sponsored by Marky Fresh Barbershop.
Yeah,
That's you.
That's me, I guess.
Thanks for paying for this.
You guys are welcome. What we were talking about in the break was authenticity when it comes to shooting these podcasts.
Yeah.
One of our biggest rules is we do not cut anything out. We want to keep the conversation flowing. And how do you guys feel about that?
So for me, as I have negatives and positives of that, and the only reason why is because you run into a situation where somebody says the wrong thing or anything like, or a situation where something
they
happens.
fumbles, they don't know what to say.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but it's as you're going further and further into it, you learn to control that, and that's our job, you and me, is to steer them. If we feel like they're going off,
we'll
a
take
topic,
the wheel.
Yeah. So if they're trying to, like, if they're starting to stumble, or if they say something like we think could be wrong, you know, in a negative way or anything, because that's at the end of the day, I don't want somebody to come on here and it's a gotcha moment. You know what I mean? Let's say Jeremy said something where it was terrible, and it was a gotcha moment, and I'm like, I got him, haha, this is awesome, because what that'll do is that'll deter people from coming in anyway. And people aren't going to want to get in that gotcha moment. So what we have to do as podcasters, and Spencer and all of us, we need to kind of steer the ship. So we probably have to pay attention a lot more than somebody else.
We really don't want to put somebody on the spot whenever. I mean, but we are going to ask some very important questions.
Absolutely.
That could probably go to that scenario.
And if they don't want to answer, fine.
And that's not completely avoidable, even if we are steering the ship. But
yeah.
I mean, I have a particular example I'd like to refer to from this.
Oh, let's hear it.
We're 3 months away from them stopping interviewing UFC fighters after they got knocked out, and we're bringing business owners and entrepreneurs in here, fully briefing them, letting them know that, hey, everything on air we're recording. Yeah. So I don't think there's anything ethically wrong with doing that.
Ethically, I don't think so. I more or less just to keep the brand alive. You know what I mean? I want it to be a very successful one, and I know there's a few that edit, a few that don't. Sometimes the natural aspects, which I do believe, I think we work better naturally. I do believe edits do take away from it, 100%. Even when you're looking at, you know, even when you listen to radio. But what I'm trying to say is that I don't want to turn it into a gotcha moment, and that's what we're trying to say. We don't edit. You know what I mean? I want it to be more of, you know, just like Spencer said, making it real. Making it real.
I mean, here's the thing about a gotcha moment, though. With a gotcha moment, at any given time, I could take a snippet of this video cast, and it's going to be a gotcha moment.
I agree.
So anyone could do it.
I know.
So at least in this scenario where we're doing a full-length podcast, right, if you say something that you feel the audience may misinterpret, right, you have a chance to then go and give some more information on it.
Well, that's why how the whole fake news came about. It's because people are certain agencies are snipping certain things and just posting what they think without context, and it's definitely detrimental to whoever they're going after. I mean, you could take anything we said out of context. I mean, you can just say, oh, well, Marky Fresh said this, or, you know, Willie Brewing Company said this, or Russo said he hates kids.
It's messed up, Russo.
Yeah, it's really messed up. Why'd you say that?
You did say they're boring.
They are.
Earlier.
So, as I thought about it more and more, I actually do agree with you, Spencer. I really do like that. You know, we're not going to edit these. We're just going to send them out, and these are going to be the podcasts. Now, we have to be conscious of our time then, and we have to be conscious of, you know, everything we're doing.
Just conscious in general would be.
Yeah. No. Unconscious would actually be great. So, and this is the truth. Me starting out, this is fresh for whoever listens to this. Mark Fresh podcast. For whoever is starting to listen to us, we are new to this. This is something that me and Marco have definitely been wanting to do this forever, and it's very exciting.
A long time.
So the beginnings are going to be long, going to be drawn out, and I will guarantee you, as we're getting better, we actually have a lot that we're going to develop here. And the editing thing might be difficult for you to listen to because there might be pauses and stuff like that. But I will guarantee you, the longer we do this, we have a lot of motion that we're going to be going down the road.
Yeah, right now this is like our second podcast, and I don't know how we're doing. You guys will probably like put it down in the comments and let us know.
I don't care if you hate us.
But honestly, this is like our first guest, like a legit guest.
So how do you feel?
Thank you, Jeremy, for coming on, by the way.
How do you feel about this?
I think this is great.
But
good people, positive people. I think that with good ideas, big ideas, and getting them in the same room, anytime you can get that, which is very hard to get, nothing but good could happen out of it.
Right.
What do you think about the room? How's it?
Yeah. How do you like the studio room we built?
Is it looking? I mean, it's not finished, but it's cool.
I mean, I saw this room when it was, what, about 6-7 months ago when it was,
it was
just
nothing.
Nothing. So this is great to watch.
Let's talk about friends that know somebody that does this kind of work and doesn't let them know.
Is this like an inside thing?
No, this is a Russo's butthurt over it.
I didn't
That's
know.
enough.
Russo's butthurt over it.
All right. Well, I'm sure you get over
No, but
it. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of work for him to do actually. So,
yeah, it's not done.
So he's probably gonna be behind.
There's a secret expansion happening, so you can think about
Speaking
that.
of secrets, we're gonna have. Yeah, I got. Actually,
We got lots.
We got lots of secrets.
We got lots.
We got
He's got a
some
big closet.
We got some guests that we want to bring on the show.
Yes.
That are pretty big time, and we're
might
not going to be
involve-
dropping any names tonight.
It might involve traveling.
and it also might involve traveling.
Yes.
But just so you know, we got secrets.
Secrets. Speaking of secrets,
Yeah,
I was
secrets,
hoping somebody would say something.
No,
with
that's
secrets.
all I had.
Oh, I was hoping somebody would actually say a secret. Well, I'll
I
tell you
don't have any
something.
secrets. I live a life of no secrets.
No, and that's
Even
what I
though
said.
I'm mysterious.
If
I'm
people
no secrets, though.
stick with us and go with the no editing, and I like it. I know Spencer likes it. I know Marco likes it, and I don't. I think it's going to go well, and that's why I said the things we have up our sleeve is going to be absolutely fantastic.
Plus, with the no editing, like it's just less work for our
100. We
assistants.
can get these out faster.
You probably don't need editors.
Yeah, we don't need editors.
I mean,
You are lazy, right?
let's be clear though. No, stop. When we say less work, that's work and time we can dedicate to other things, whether that be researching new equipment,
Getting guests,
taking this podcast and putting it in a bunch
having
of
more
different places,
podcasts.
doing it more often.
Yes.
So it just allows us to increase speed.
Yeah, the workload is light, so we can increase.
And to be honest with you, it's not. It's different. A lot of podcasts will cut form. Do this. Even now, like we had Jeremy come in on a whim. He just showed up, and we interviewed him with no prep, no anything, just off the top of our head. And to me, that's just it was a very authentic conversation. We didn't feel like we pushed an issue. He could have easily said, "I'm not going to talk about that." He could have easily just been like, "Ugh."
Well, I think
I'm gonna phone
on
it
that
in.
point, I'm gonna chime in because this is how, from my perspective, if you guys were judgmental and
Yeah.
you guys were doing a lot of those kinds of leading and forward questioning or leading questions, then that would lead to a got you moment,
Right.
which would be really a negative thing. So I think that if you're leading the charge or driving the bus and you have a very optimistic approach and you're not trying to do that, I think there's nothing to hide. So it's almost like why would you hide?
Yeah.
There's nothing to hide from.
I agree. I truly on a personal point, I don't know about everybody else, but I truly am interested in what everybody does. For me, because to be honest, I don't have a very. I mean, I guess if I explain my job, it'd probably be pretty interesting. Same
You're a
thing with
boring
Russo.
person. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I had a fun 20s. For me, I really like to hear people's stories and why they do what they do, or why their business and what they're building.
In what direction? Yeah.
It's simple enough to drive by the Willie Brewing Company and go, I like going there, and know that, hey, we're planning on expanding. Why are you planning on expanding? We're planning on making this maybe a wedding venue, for weddings, and we're building this and we're building that. Nobody asks that.
Yeah,
Nobody gets to know
that's
that.
the fascinating things that we want to learn and broadcast out to other people that want that knowledge. So
Yeah.
I'm with you 100%.
I truly believe that you hear lots of podcasts out there, and there are many. There are hundreds of thousands, and there are many people like us, but nobody's going to be like us. And that's because we're interested in what they do, and I don't want to get anybody on a gotcha moment, and I truly want to know what they're doing. Now, if it escalates to something that's awesome, and they want to fight me, I am all for it. I won't, I wouldn't mind having the arguments, and just like yesterday or the other day, we had argument, and I loved it. I don't look for it, but I truly believe that that's missing in the radio and in podcasts and in any scenario. It's
I'm
missing.
not trying to avoid that either.
No,
it
but it
spices it up.
It's
a little flavoring, a little seasoning.
it's just a
to the
personality.
podcast,
You have people coming in who have a different
That wasn't an
personality than you.
argument.
Not everyone's going to agree on all the issues.
What?
That wasn't an argument. That was an ambush.
Of what? No,
That was an AM
from
no,
her?
Yes. No, but you have different. So in that aspect, you have people coming in with completely different personalities. When Jeremy walks in, he might have a different personality than we are. So an argument or a discussion or whatever could happen. Like I could have been like, "Hey, Jeremy, what about this?" And you could be like, "Why'd you ask me that?" You know what I mean? And it could have been like, "Well, I'm just wondering," and then it could go from there. And I'm just using it because you're here. But for me, that doesn't happen anymore. You have LeBron James being interviewed, and he says, "Well, we got to do this because of the team and everything else." Now, off camera, he's commenting about NFL owners.
Well, actually, that was actually in writing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So here now, it's starting to happen. But in the beginning of his career, everybody would say he doesn't say anything. He's Manila. He doesn't do anything. But I truly believe. Let's say Conor McGregor. Let's use that as a great example. Or even Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield. Him saying, "I don't give a shit what you think about me. I don't care. I'm going to do this." It's huge. Because you don't hear that anymore. It's refreshing. And if we come in here and
when it's done with passion and with the right,
it is.
There's such a fine line between being an asshole and standing up for something that you believe in.
It's something we all enjoy. It's something you enjoy with beer. It's something Marco and I do with the podcast. And Rick joining in, I think he somewhat enjoys it. Maybe gets him out of the house from the kids. I don't care. But I know at the end of the day, when you
Rick, do you want to say something to your wife that's listening at home right now?
She's probably not listening. She will never listen
She'll
to this.
never listen.
I was just so upset that she went to bed and the kids went to bed.
They had to
know
leave.
What to do, so
is that why you left? Is that why you
leave.
left at 7:30?
No comment.
So no, but what I'm saying is,
Gotcha.
people with passion.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, we said 5 minutes.
Can we edit that?
About that.
With passion comes, drive, comes determination, comes, a very opinionated person. With anything you do, if you love it, you're going to have an opinion.
That's the price for admission.
Absolutely, and it comes with anything. So if I said something a little negative towards the barbershop, I bet you Marco would defend that a little bit, and then it would go from there. And the same thing if I said something like, "Oh, I hate your new beer. It's a piece of shit." You're going to defend that. That's why opinions and it needs to be balanced and needs to be directed as more of an interest. And that's why I think the editing wouldn't be a terrible thing not to do. And because I don't.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to everything, but
there's absolutely.
We're going to stick with the
editing. Editing has its cons as well. You don't get the full story.
Yeah, you don't. Well, what it does is it takes away from the intimacy of the conversation.
And you love being intimate with anything.
Hello, ladies.
And men.
Even that microphone.
Nope.
And men.
So,
he likes his beard pulled.
Dude, I pull my own beard. You can believe that or not. Go ahead.
Speaking of authenticity, your beard is authentic.
It is.
It's like strategically the gray hints in there. I love how you did that.
Yeah. He goes over there and colors it. That's why. That's what he does for 20 minutes. That's why we went on a break.
I picked each hair individually, and I decided to turn it gray.
planted.
Strategically unorganized.
I love that comment. Strategically unorganized.
Yeah. It's like this is meant to be a mess. I'm meant to be homeless. Yeah. So, another topic, I guess. The Browns they've been doing well, but I'm not going to talk about the Browns.
We're going to the Super Bowl
maybe next year. I'm not going to talk about the Browns, but we ran across a business that we happen to know that might be offering something, and now they're kind of steering away from it. So
wait, what?
What?
Yeah.
So
tell me more.
They might have drawn a contest that said that, hey, we might have this, and supposedly we don't know the whole rules, but it was brought to our attention this evening, or attention this evening from an unknown source, and they said how the business is kind of steering away from it a little bit, like maybe avoiding.
Wait, did they make a mistake?
They might have.
They made a mistake. What's the prize?
By hedging,
can we talk about the prize?
Let's leave the prize alone. Let's just.
Is
say
it a big prize?
It's a very
What's the value? Is there?
I would say it could be in the 5 figures.
Oh boy!
In each place.
I would say it's in the 7 figures. When you factor in.
If you factor, that's why I said in each place in 5 figures. So
it's a big.
It's a very big oops. And so, what's your guys' opinion on a company? Let's just say, we won't discuss everything about it. But what's your opinion
I think
about?
we need more details.
I
though.
need some juice. Well, that's some juicy details.
So what's your opinion about if you were having a contest and you found out, oh shit, this contest is fucking me, and the insurance company is going to cover everything I have?
I'm going to stop you right there.
What?
If I'm doing a contest for my business,
right?
I know that I'm probably going to give whatever I want to give away.
Right.
At some point.
Is there a moral obligation there?
I don't want to go into a contest.
Yeah. So is there?
I don't want to go into a contest.
Is it morally
like,
conflicting?
Oh, it didn't work out because when I go into a contest, I'm looking to.
So how do you feel about a business that is doing that? That could be possibly.
Like Russo,
going,
what would have happened if there's $75 in coupons? Was only $20 in coupons?
So I would raise holy hell and call a councilman at 9 o'clock at night, like I did last year when I didn't win.
So you're saying they're betting they're betting against themselves?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not. Dude, that is not good.
Because.
That could.
I mean, unless I'm, you heard the source as well, Jeremy.
I did.
So am I steering it a little bit, or is that kind of what's happening?
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. I feel like, so how do you guys feel
There's
about
so many missing puzzle pieces here. I feel like our audience should know.
No, we can't.
This
so
is the worst
we can't.
topic ever.
No, it's not.
We can't.
No, because this is what I'm.
well,
This is what I'm getting at. How do you feel about? This is what I'm getting at. Businesses in general. How do you feel about them negating everything? And so they offer a contest, and they. Not your necessarily the business, and they offer it, and then they take it away. But there was no purchases. There was no purchases necessary. There was nothing, and the company goes, you know what? We're not going to do that anymore. Would you push that subject or no?
Well, first of all, the companies that put those contests out there, I'm sure, do their homework and look at all the variables.
I'm sure.
Of what they're going to lose.
They call the
and
insurance companies.
The company is called
So
the insurance companies.
for exactly?
The insurance company is to cover their liability.
yes.
So because mostly what happens with like the Window Nation, I think it was.
Window
some
Nation
window
got that
company.
covered. Yeah.
What about like a hole-in-one for like a golf?
Yeah, like a
Same
hole in
thing.
one. Like
They have same
the
thing.
Cadillac and all that stuff. Like
So
there's
how
an-
would you relate it to like a hole-in-one from a golf outing? Is there could you
Okay,
relate
so
it
like
to
let's
that?
just say if somebody had a
Yeah.
thing where
Well, I think it was more of a
hey,
Window Nation thing. It's almost the same situation.
I don't know what happened.
what
with
the
it.
insurance.
So the Window Nation was
the
over
Indians.
22 games.
If the
wasn't
Indians won 20, if the Indians
21
won
or
a
22?
20-game winning streak
it? I think it's more than that.
in 2017,
Can you look
it might
that
have
up?
been 20 or 21 games.
Spencer?
But
The
regardless
Window
of what it
Nation,
was,
Window Nation Indians
I gotta
contest.
give some back facts on this. I never heard this one.
yeah, regardless of
It was
what it
actually
was,
pretty
there
awesome.
was a contest with Window Nation that said if the Indian, I want to say it was 17 games.
I think it was 22.
I'm almost positive it was
I think it
17
was
games
22.
because it was 2017, 17 games. It was kind of like the whole.
I don't think it was. I thought
we'll
it was
see-
more
we'll
than
see
that.
if I'm-
Because
But-
the was it
15 games.
Wow, it was.
So Window Nation said a thing out last baseball season was if you bought windows from them during at that time whenever they did it, and the Indians won 15 games, you said?
in a row.
Yep, 15
If
games.
the Indians won 15 games in a row that season, all your windows were free.
How much did they give back?
$2 million.
Yeah. So the Indians won 22 games in a row, and Window Nation, who
In a
put
time
that out,
frame. It was in a time frame in a month.
Yeah, it was yeah.
Month
I
of July,
I
I
don't know
believe.
what it was, but whatever it was, there was a time frame. There was they did their homework. They said it. They paid the insurance company
Mm-hmm.
the money. So whether they did it or not, they were paying the insurance company. So it was almost like an advertisement.
Right.
You know, I'm sure the cost was a lot more, but the insurance companies are probably like, Indians haven't won 15 games in a row. And
Well, that's what they 50
years.
So they actually had the Window Nation guys on the interviews before, and they said that they did the math and it cost this amount of money and it did this, and it actually turned out better for them because when they did, and it was I think it was $2
their
million. what he said.
publicity went through the roof.
Well, went through the roof,
Yeah.
and what they said is most people who got that money invested it in their house again.
Yeah.
So they almost got more business from it.
Yeah, no, they look good on it. But what would be bad is if somebody,
Let's say hypothetically the Indians win,
if there was a loophole
and there was a loophole, and they said
and the insurance company wouldn't cover it.
Yeah. So how would you honestly? How would you guys feel in this perspective? How would you guys feel as a customer? What would you push the issue or no?
Hurt.
Good feedback.
So basically, we're saying
Obviously,
that if you were
it's
a
our second
customer,
podcast,
that you were
so-
entitled to win something. So you're saying if you're a customer, you're entitled to win something.
Yeah.
And because of a technically,
Right.
the insurance company bails out.
Would
of
you push the
backing
subject or
it,
no?
So the company tries to back away from it and act like it never
Would you
happened.
push the subject or no?
Yeah. If I was entitled to something for free, I would. Yeah.
But are you? So in this circumstance,
If
are
I
you
have
entitled?
if I have a paper from
Yeah.
windows I bought for my house that said your windows are free if you win 15 games in a row
Right.
this year, I don't care if your mother's great grandmother's paying for my windows. Somebody's buying me new fucking windows.
That's it all depends on that prize.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Well, this kind of relates. It's actually
obviously the cost of the prize is going to raise your
If it's like a sticker, no, I mean, no thanks.
I want a sticker.
What if it was between two companies for windows, and they were deciding who to buy from, and the deciding factor was, hey man, I'm gonna roll the dice and maybe I can win free windows.
So here's a fun scenario.
And you win free windows and don't get
the same thing they do with wedding rings. If it rains on your wedding day,
that's a good point.
Yeah, what was that, Jared?
A lot of them are doing that. So if it rains on your wedding,
if you buy an engagement ring from them and it rains on your wedding day,
it's free.
But now there's always a stipulation.
Stop.
No, there's a stipulation. You have to have like your wedding day, because I looked into this. You have to have your wedding day registered at least 90 days in advance.
Right.
And when it rains, it has to rain like a certain amount. It has to rain like a quarter of an inch of rain. There's
and
like
you
it can't just
free.
like
but that was a public record. So if that was the public record of this amount of rain, then it would be
you would have to fall under the category. It can't just like sprinkle in the morning and be like, oh, I got a $10,000 ring for free today because it fucking rained.
I swear to God, if I did that,
I swear there was a drop of rain on my window. I saw a drop of rain. It's free. No,
I was just more or less.
It has to be a pretty good amount of rainfall.
You were saying kind of as a weird topic. I was more or less just. It kind of coincides with what we were talking about with customer service. That is it. You might be able to. You might lose out, but I mean, with that being said, I mean, how many people are going to be really pissed off
at
you? That everybody's kind of like, wow, we can actually win something, and you don't. I mean, is it going to...
I think that goes into ethics. I think it really goes
truly,
back
I truly
to your
believe so.
identity.
It speaks... If you're willing to do that, it speaks about what else you're willing to do.
That's a great point.
Would this scenario be if, good publicity turns into bad publicity? I mean...
100%.
But
I don't think it would close the doors.
What is bad publicity, though? For this
so in honestly in this scenario, I don't think it would close the doors. I think people just be like, whatever. It wasn't a purchase necessary kind of thing. I think people just go, wow, what dicks, and that's it, and they won't be able to run a promotion anymore.
Oh no, yeah.
I don't truly believe it will affect business.
I think because the fact you're right, because I think it's, I don't know, man, that's really tough. But the fact that there's not a clear-cut winner.
Well, that and you don't have to purchase
kind of
anything.
Shed it away.
You don't have to purchase anything.
It's not
going to change anything.
You're not out anything.
But does it make you a dick? I mean, in all honesty,
believe me,
some people might go whatever.
There's enough people out there at each one of those spots.
Yeah.
That will raise enough of a shit about it.
What if those people believed in that spot?
Yeah.
Though? What if that's like their home spot? They go to 4 times. They
Or
invest a lot of money there.
What if somebody strategically went to every location to put their name in a hat somewhere and took the time?
Let me ask you this. If you went to your, let's call it a good restaurant you always go to, and they did that, would you stop going there?
It would tell me a lot about their character.
But would you stop going there?
Depends on the situation. Yeah. I could.
In this situation, if in this situation where they offer something for free and they just said, nah, we're not going to do that anymore. It didn't affect anything, but oh man, I didn't get that. Would you stop?
If you put something out in a universe like that and they react in that way,
yeah,
I would not. Yeah, I would stop.
I may go back, but I'm going to be on guard. I'm going to be. I just think that would change my.
You definitely wouldn't want to take a contest there anymore.
Absolutely not.
I probably
no. It's just an untrustworthy place at that point.
Right. I just find, and I know it's kind of weird, and we have to be really vague because we don't know the whole thing. But I just find it. I just take it back to being like good customer service. This is what we're talking about. It's kind of been the drive force of this whole podcast.
Deception.
Deception. I mean.
Bad taste in your mouth.
This is where internet becomes a little dangerous because you put that shit out there.
It's there.
And you think, oh, this is a great idea, and all of a sudden it's you're like, oh shit, and then that's it. So is it bad customer service to be like that? I mean, if you're in the restaurant industry, I mean yours is a little different, but you're in would you want to even get into that field of offering free shit?
Spencer, you were in the moving business for how many years?
Good
Spencer.
Talk.
Good talk, Spencer.
And this is where editing would come in.
Give me a second here, boys. Go ahead. Ask a question.
Okay. You were in the moving business for how many years?
Since I was 16, actually. So, I mean, and I'm still involved in certain ways. So, 12 years.
Okay, so from your perspective of ownership and things like that, and a promotion that would coincide with what we're talking about, doesn't really seem that far off from a moving company window. It's a lot of this. It's very similar.
Yeah.
What's your take on it?
Yeah, it's high ticket service based business. So.
Exactly.
What's my take on offering a contest and not following through on it?
Yeah, well, like from an ownership standpoint.
I mean, I think it's just terrible for a brand. You take people that you've spent money, time, and other resources to build trust in your brand, and then you don't follow through on doing something you say you're going to do. So, I mean, I think it's just
What would have happened to the Windows company if they wouldn't have followed through?
Oh my gosh.
They would have had worse publicity. They would have had just as much, but worse.
This is the thing that I think would benefit this other company more right now is the window was so publicized that they were talking about it when they won like 8 games in a row. I mean, it was on the broadcast of the Indians. It was on everything. Like even ESPN was carrying it.
Oh, they were killing it. Yeah.
When they got to like 12 games, ESPN was talking about it.
Yeah.
Like it was like a global thing. Like everyone that watched baseball, MLB Network, everything, it was all over there. Now this is something that
no one's really going to give a shit about.
I heard about it today, and it was like it was something I.
But
never
again,
heard
it's something
before,
people never bought.
It's out there.
Yeah.
And for it to be out there, I mean,
It's an interesting situation.
I mean, that's tough because you as a business owner, doing how can I word that? Taking an insurance thing out.
Yeah.
For a contest like that,
right?
And then there being a glitch or a overlooked detail, we'll say, that would cause the insurance company to bail out, and then now leave you in a spot where, as a business owner, you're either paying a huge amount of money out of your pocket,
which they can afford, by the way.
Okay,
but without the return though, because they didn't get the marketing aspect of it.
You're talking about walking out your front door and having to hold a suitcase of money and torch it right in your front lawn and throw it on your front lawn, or be an asshole and throw your credibility out the window and just say, "Hey,
is that torching
just
it though?"
Kidding, you know?
Is that torching it?
In a way, when you say be an asshole, I get that. But on the other end, when you say be an asshole, if that contest puts Window Nation out of business, they employ hundreds and hundreds of people, and all of their families are affected also. So I think the issue becomes a little more complex.
Yeah, I mean,
I just think that.
But what if you completely bankrupt yourself by paying that out and you close down anyways?
That's a little different. That's a little different because it's your own personal finances.
I don't think it would bankrupt them. I truly believe that if you have a company, let's say in this exact scenario, you have a company that found a loophole and said, "Well,
they can spin this.
We're going to spin this to a positive and say we're following through with what we're doing, but unfortunately, it's kind of putting our business in a standpoint."
You're talking about $1 million+ dollars. That's a lot of money to just find under the cookie jar.
But that's what I'm saying. In this,
but do you hide from it though? You hide.
You absolutely do not hide. You go listen.
If I was going to pay it, I would try to hide.
No, I mean, maybe they do one Range Rover or they do something.
So here's why you wouldn't hide. Is you're going to in this scenario, it's not going to be very big. I truly believe because nobody's bought anything, nobody's done anything different.
We're talking without LeBron's economy too.
Yeah. So hold on a second.
I don't.
You're talking. It's not a big deal because we haven't heard about it yet. We haven't heard about it yet because it hasn't made the news. It's not lost until next week.
So is it going to make the news? So that's what I'm saying.
Next week, somebody right now is walking around with tight butt cheeks right now.
Yeah.
In the business world, and next week could be a bad.
I got to be honest with you. They're playing Baltimore. They might lose anyway.
Next week could be a bad.
You're right. 50-50.
Yeah. Would you want to have that?
More like 70-30.
Would you want to have that riding on the Browns?
Listen, I love the Browns, but Baltimore's pretty good. Would you want to have that
much money riding on the Browns game? The last game of the year with nothing to play for.
Yeah, no. but when you're looking at it as a normal person perspective, hit that much money.
Yeah, because you're a business owner or not, he's a normal person. He's one of us in this room. That
but if you push back,
made a bad decision and fucked up. You didn't think about something and. They're in a bad spot, regardless of who they are.
Regardless of that business. So what I'm saying, as a business owner in general, I truly believe that if you're going to do something like this, it will be more detrimental to you if you ignored it and didn't say anything than it would be to get in front of it and go, listen, I'm going to give away one. And that's it. And that's all we can afford. And
this is why.
And this is why. And I truly did. Something got messed up somewhere where I'm just going to give away one.
You don't think that could backfire?
No.
Because if you get that to the wrong person, that could probably take you to court and say that you threw a contest as a business and your business is on the line to put let's just say 20 prizes.
Do you step into the fire or do you walk away from it and let it burn longer?
I don't know.
How could you spin this as a business owner? How could you spin
I don't
this in
know.
a positive
If
way?
I was a business owner, if it were me, and obviously I'm one of the few.
You know what? I can actually speak on that because we actually did this for a business.
Okay.
It was a scenario where a contest got well out of hand, where there was many people commenting on a particular post. I mean, people were messaging the page and saying, "Hey, I think I won," and they didn't win, because of the criteria to win the contest was a little bit confusing, but it was pretty straightforward. But still, when there's that many people commenting, people are saying, "Did I win? Did I win? Did I win?" So this contest went on for months longer than we expected it to. And what we did was we let the audience vote on what we should do with the prize. So the original prize was a year's worth of free widget, whatever that widget may be. If you sell moving services, a year's worth of moving services, a year's worth of beers at Brewing Company. Yeah. So let's say we sell let's say our prize was a year's worth of beers at Brewing Company, and that valuation is $500. We gave it to the audience and let the audience vote and say, hey, this contest got out of hand. Here are our options. Should we continue running the contest? Should we give that $500 to charity? Should we split it amongst the top 5 people that are winning the contest and give them each $100 worth of beer? So we gave it to the audience to vote, to tell us what to do, and the audience actually voted to give it to charity. It was pretty amazing.
And then you come out a winner.
Everyone comes out.
Everybody wins, and everybody's happy. So in that aspect, that is a very good point. You should almost maybe place it in their hands, and then that way you're going to make someone mad regardless. However it spins, someone's going to be like, "Well, that's bullshit."
Of course.
If you make the majority happy, then you win. At the end of the day, you win. And that comes down to customer service and everything.
The problem
let me clarify that. The majority of your particular segmented audience. So, like, for example, Brewing Company may not make the entire city happy,
right,
but its goal is to make their segmented perfect avatar person happy.
Right. And I truly believe that's how, and you say the law, the way we read it, a little gray.
It doesn't seem gray at all.
A little gray.
What could be gray about it? I mean, that's about as black and white as it could get.
It's a little gray.
Without bringing up names. Do you feel that's gray at all?
It's a little gray.
I'm not sure on the legality of it, but the contest was very clear.
What we saw, was there any grayness to those?
I'm talking about the legality of it.
That
we don't even know the legality of it. All I know is what's out there, and what's out there is
it was
post
worded
of a contest that was worded extremely clear.
Okay, so
that
irrelevant. But that's not.
If there's this, you get this. Period.
I'm not concentrating on this specific contest. What I'm concentrating on in general is how a business owner handles, and that's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, but
how
a contest could be different depending on how much proof there is, or how much
How does a business owner handle?
Have?
How does a business owner handle a contest or some kind of thing that they're running that goes wrong? Like how does that work? Because you're all unfortunately going to run into that scenario, whether it be a free food voucher, whether it be a coupon, whether it be giving away a vehicle, whether it be giving away a house, or whatever it may be. Somebody somewhere, it's going to happen bad. You give to a lot of charities. What if a charity has gone wrong? Brewco went under fire a while ago under that shit. There was somebody that went bad in their management corp. So you guys handled it very well, and you're like, okay, we're out. But what do most business owners, even inexperienced business owners, how the hell do they handle that? I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's no real right or wrong answer. It's how you make your customers happy. And do you go in and take the bullet and take the fire and go, you know what, I'm going to burn myself a little bit, but I'm not going to kill myself. And that's what I'm saying. Maybe in this scenario or in a scenario, if you're giving away multiple things, you give away one and you say, I fucked up.
Yeah, but what if you can't say that?
Then you got to bite the bullet. But if you avoid it completely, that bullet's going to be a lot stronger than if you take it to the chin. You know what I mean? If you avoid it, they're going to be like, fuck you. you know what I mean? Then you're an asshole and you're avoiding it. If you take it and go, we fucked up, dude, we can't afford it, you're taking it a lot softer. And that's the truth. And that's in any scenario, if you avoid, it's like being a kid. Let's say a kid, you told your kids not to have candy, and every night they went and got candy and put it in their bed and never told you, and then you find it. You're a lot more pissed if they said, hey, listen, Dad, I happened to take candy the other night. You're going to be a lot more like, okay, well, you're still a dick for doing that, but I forgive you because you told me. And I understand I'm putting it in very, very
the problem is
crappy
we're
terms.
I'm looking at it like this one situation. There's always going to be variables in every situation, every contest, everything somebody wins. There's always going to be a variable in there.
Yeah.
The thing I'm looking at is this one case of, I don't think you can just play the card of, hey, I don't have money. Sorry, guys. Like, we made a mistake because somebody. All it takes is one person to go get a lawyer up, and say, hey,
right.
I'm entitled to this.
So one person.
Oh, but I'm saying all it takes is one.
Hey, guys, we're coming up on our 2 hours here.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to go around the table counterclockwise, starting with Marco. And we're going to just give 30 seconds. I'll cut you off when you're 30 seconds. Just give your final opinion on the contest. We'll roll around, and we'll close it up.
Thanks, boss.
Yep.
You just ruined everything.
Thank you.
That's what he's there for. That's why he's the producer.
Yeah, he's the moderator.
He's the moderator.
I honestly don't have any more opinions than what was already discussed. I think we went into depth with it, so I'm just gonna pass it over to Russo.
Wow, that's where editing comes in. At least Marco
Yeah.
out. It really puts a dent.
Yeah, no, all I really get out of this now is just knowing that if I ever run a contest for anything like that is to make sure I check all of my information before I put it out to the public.
Yeah.
And if I somehow lose on a technicality, I'm going to hide under the biggest rock I could find.
Yeah, I mean,
coward myself away.
Definitely, when you run a contest, you need to check all variables.
All variables.
And something we actually ran into is the change for us was actually Facebook that destroyed that contest. They started removing people's comments when they were commenting multiple times, so it looked like other people had won.
So they thought it was spam.
So Facebook's
comments, you'd have to go in there and unhide them.
Yes, Facebook's algorithm changed at middle of the contest.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, pretty unique situation, similar to this, where you think you're running a straight up contest and you just overlook something.
Sorry, Spencer, you went over your 30 seconds.
So go ahead, Jeremy.
Okay, well, if it was apples to apples, I would agree, but I don't think it's quite apples to apples. I think in this situation, he got what he signed up for. It was in writing. This was the agreement. He signed it from the get.
This will come out in the future for sure. If it ever comes out, we will bring it up.
It'll come up next Sunday.
Yes, especially if the Brown
beating down on the Ravens next week.
So with that being said, thanks for listening to the podcast. Thanks to Marky Fresh for sponsoring it, and thanks for Jeremy for coming in and actually being a truly good sport.
Yeah, great guest, Jeremy.
We threw him into the fire, and he 100%, I think, in my opinion, killed it. So
yeah, we got to get you back on here.
Yeah, whenever you want, dude. Come on in and talk. This has been real fun, and no thanks to Russo for being here because nobody likes him. Yeah. Mike, you've been quiet. Anything you want to say before we end this?
No, I got no mic. I'm just kind of observing.
Do we have a couple more minutes?
No.
We don't have.
No. We got to keep it.
You can't go 2:05.
No.
It's actually a very important topic.
No, we're out.
About your guest.
We'll talk about it
later.
later.
Save it for next time.
We'll save it for later.
Save it for next time.
So anyway, again, thank you for listening.